All right, welcome to the Sae Bae cast number 197 with Rob and Michelle, or BuneBape. I don't even actually know. Like, I wasn't sure if I should put like like Rob and Michelle as the thumbnail or keep it as BuneBape, because literally last episode I had Bird and Sparry, and
Yeah.
I could have just had Guth Express podcast, but I'm like, I don't know what works, but I felt like BuneBape just worked better like when I started testing it. So anyway, we
Yeah.
kept it as BuneBape. How you guys doing today?
Pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I'm doing great. I went for a little bike ride in the morning. It's absolutely freezing out right now, but it was dry at least. So I went out and then was just looking forward to this. Also running some rooftops on the brand new Ironman I started. So
Okay, let's
that's
The
fun.
go.
brand new iron. What inspired the iron?
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll just like keep it really brief, but so I was doing a group hardcore with No Monkey, Tasty Life,
Oh yeah.
T Papa, and Jessie, Bodhi's girlfriend, and we went for about 3 months, and then there was like kind of like a falling out a little bit with there's like a little bit of drama. I won't get into it here, but
There's
basically,
tea,
yeah.
dude.
I'm like, tell me after.
Yeah. No, it really wasn't that big of a deal. It was kind of like we just weren't on like we just didn't really have that much like team chemistry going. Like we didn't really have many plans set out. We were just kind of all doing our own thing, and it kind of
Yeah.
just disbanded like naturally, sort of because of that. But yeah, I'll go into it a little bit after the cast. I share some
Okay.
drama.
No,
But
it's all good. I mean,
I'm a gossip, so I'm like, yeah, tell me.
I kind of feel like that happens in groups. Like eventually
Mhm.
everyone's wondering. Like sometimes you'll like get to a crossroads where you're like, man, I'm just playing like an Ironman with extra steps at this point. Like it's kind of like
Yeah.
Yeah.
weird. Like why am I doing this? I could just be doing a regular Ironman.
Yeah, no, and there's a lot of elements to it because like I was loving it. I did not
Oh.
understand how much I would love a brand new Iron Man. That honestly, I'd resisted it for years. I just was like, no, I'm not going to enjoy doing quests again. This was again my like naive mind thinking that there wasn't such thing as Quest Helper, because I never used Quest Helper like my first run through.
Would you
So
use the videos or the wiki?
yeah, I would use Rune HQ, like the written guide. Yeah, it was
Whoa.
bad.
Rune HQ.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the OG. But like I really did not know what I was missing out on. And then as soon as I had that experience, it was just like, okay, I love this. And so jumping back over to Sae Bae quite abruptly, that's my main iron. That's just like 1.7 bill XP, maxed everything.
Mhm.
Jumped over to it and I was like, okay, I'll probably be refreshed and play this. And I just couldn't like really get into that long-term mindset again because everything is so long. And I know you, Michelle, like you are super dry. Are you still super dry on Scurious?
Yeah, I hit 14,200 last night
Jesus
without the pet.
Christ. Oh my
But you're like
God.
at Duke. What's your KC now?
So I'm like 7,800 at Duke. It's a
Ugh.
1 in 2,500 pet.
Oh God.
So
I
just
feel your pain.
yeah, just over 3x rate. But like even that, like going back to a grind like that, because I had honestly spent 300 hours at Duke,
Mhm.
like pretty
Oh
much.
my
Like
God.
maybe not like quote unquote efficient hours there, but that would be still over like 200, even if I was like maximum sweating. But I am just after playing a brand new Ironman, my mindset is not registered to like grind something for 300 hours straight, just one piece of content. So I basically had to make a decision. I'm like, you know what? I got to start something new, and I hate having to bring an escape crystal everywhere for hardcore Ironman mode. And I'm just
Oh
like, yeah,
yeah.
I'm not doing that. So I literally started a fresh normal Ironman, which everybody's asking, like, what are you doing? Like fresh normal, like who makes normal Ironman, you know? So, but it's
Yeah,
been great.
like, make it locked to some extremely obscure content to make it relevant.
Exactly.
That is honestly, I was brainstorming that. I was even getting Chat GPT involved in the brainstorming. I was like, what kind of restriction? And Chat GPT is brilliant, by the way. Like, it actually knows about old school RuneScape. It's kind of bizarre. Like, it
Oh, we
knows a
use it
lot.
sometimes to ask questions. We're like trying to find RuneScape puns and it's giving good ideas. I'm like, this is weird.
I know, it's like actually good. But no, I was like kind of brainstorming some potential snowflake Iron Man like
Yeah.
restrictions that would be fun and also simple and easy to like explain, because that's the other thing. You don't want to have a billion different exceptions to your rule and then have to explain those on repeat. It's just like, no, it's got to be something simple, and nothing really came to mind that was like, okay, this would actually be fun long term. A lot of the ideas were fun for like the first few days. They'd be fun to like as like a gimmick, but it just
Yeah.
gets overwhelming. So
Yeah.
That's like the iron you just started, Robert.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like kind of hard to like log in with a good idea and be like, all right, day 150 of my Karazi jungle locked Iron Man, where I finished 40 quests before was able to come here. It's like
we are
so weird.
we're hunting, or what are those like things they make there, jubblies, or what are they called?
The
What
jubblies,
are
yeah.
they? I was like,
Yeah, I think
we're on a
so.
road to 100,000 jubblies or whatever in Karazi locked. Yeah.
Wait, that's a great idea for an
No,
account.
no,
You should
no,
put
no,
that
no.
out. Don't steal it.
Yeah, don't leak that to Verf. He'll actually get on that.
Oh my God, he's probably already done it.
Yeah, Verf is crazy when it comes to Snowflake Iron Man. He's him, and I would say Limport. I think I'm probably missing somebody, but those are like the goats I think of when I think of like
Dude,
just
I love
masochism.
Limport series.
It's crazy, dude. The fact that when everybody discovered Limport, he had already killed men and women in Lumbridge for like a fucking year. Just like
Yeah.
episode
Yeah.
1, I've just been genocide Lumbridge for the last year. Here we go. Here's all the progress. Jesus Christ.
Generations of families just dead.
Yeah, it's horrible. I'm like, that is amazing. That is something. Let me hear your guys' thoughts on this. Like, have you guys ever considered, I don't know if this is just me, this is probably a weird thing to ask, but like making some sort of series that's like backlogged so much, but like you release it and like episode 1 looks like you've already made a lot of progress, and then episode 2 is just like comes out the next week, but it's like 6 months of progress or something. Like some series that you like release every week or something, but it's like 2 or 3 years of progress, like something just nutty.
Can't. I don't think I could focus that long. I would just get over it.
Either. And the thing is, you'd also have updates. Like it would be impossible to like really hide.
Yeah. It'd be so obvious. It'd be like, oh, also there's suddenly a boss right next to me that wasn't here before.
Yeah.
It's done for 4 months.
No, I've definitely thought of it too. It's funny because like whenever like Limport first made their video, like I think a lot of people didn't like think about how much time was in like the first episode where he's like he like logs in, he's like, all right, so I got 99 wood cutting on the tree in Lumbridge Castle, and it's like, dude, what?
How long were you there?
Yeah, like it's like, and then he logs in again, he's like, all right, this is my first video in 8 months because I've just been like doing this super weird grind at like he did at like Giant's Foundry or something like that. I'm like, it's like so bizarre, dude. But
I couldn't. You were.
I tried to do that, and I was like, I think I got like a few days into it, and I'm like, no, this isn't.
Do you want to say what your idea was?
This isn't.
What was it?
It was one of those ideas that was like really good at first, and then you're like, this is gonna take me 300 days.
I don't remember.
Free to play one.
Oh yeah, I had like made
2 weeks ago.
I made a super obscure like free to play account in like defiance of like the increased prices for membership.
He was boycotting. He didn't want to pay.
Nice. We need more of that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was all like, all right, so I'll do this free to play account where I make 15 mil because that's the price of a bond now, which is crazy, on an iron in free to play. And I was like, oh, this would take like 200 hours of just killing ogresses or something. So I'm just not gonna do that.
Yeah, no, free to play. There's honestly been a little bit of a spark in me that's like, that would be kind of fun to engage in free to play, but my free to play would have to have an exception where it's actually a member, but so it can go to like non-member worlds, but it still just does free to play stuff. Like, sorry, it goes to members worlds because I don't want to deal with all the bots and the just garbage everywhere. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, it's funny. I don't even know if I could do that because during this, journey, like I did like spend a significant amount of time on the account, but it made me realize
shooting stars.
How many like extremely small and minute ways like Jagex goes out to like piss you off as a new player.
Really? Like what?
I don't like. Okay, like number one, I was like, okay, I
the
can.
whole time. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's awful. But like one thing that I didn't know for like the first 100 hours of this grind was I was like, okay, I can do shooting stars for a ton of crafting XP and then cut those gems and sell them. Like that'll be awesome. And I'll get like 1 million Stardust or whatever. This will be funny. And then come to find out, you can not even spend the Stardust unless you're a member.
Yeah.
That is
You,
so ridiculous.
you can get it, but you can't use it. And you also get half the amount of
Yeah, you
XP
get
while
half
mining the shooting
XP.
stars.
That is such a bait. Like it's so like, oh,
Yeah.
you
Really
like this?
shitty.
You kind of like this? All right. Well, here you can get the full
So
version.
You like
n-
this? Well, fuck you.
not not only are you limited by the free to play stars that drop in those worlds, but also you probably have a lower level, and you actually get literally zero rewards besides like the gem every like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's so cursed.
He did that for like 2 full weekends before like being like, I'm not gonna play this account anymore.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
this is it. It made me realize that the game really goes like out of its way to try to make you be like, man, this really sucks. I should get members instead of being like, oh, this is really cool. I should get members because I want to do this more.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
go
yeah.
the negative route for sure.
Yeah, no, runes free to play is painful. Like it really is. I
Mhm.
feel like I don't know if you guys ever watched like Automelogy, like his UI, his free to play UIM. It's just crazy. It's like
No,
top
free to
10 in
play
the
Ultimate.
yeah, for he's had it for years, and he just the grinds he does are just so simple. Like he's killed a metric fuck ton of ogresses. One, he's also he like what was the other grind he did that was just crazy? Well, he's done a lot of fishing, and he used to do like that wilderness mining method as well, which is like just weird. You have some dude like chucking darts at you on repeat, and you're like mining these like 4 iron rocks. Anyway, but
What?
there's like one real. I mean, I guess in members this is kind of the same if you're like a really sweaty skiller. Like there's one clearly defined meta, but in like free to play, it's like okay, there's one meta, and you all have to fight over like the limited worlds if you want to gain maximum XP, and it's just kind of like a shit show. And the whole, I'm just always impressed by anybody that can truly grind that like for thousands and thousands of hours. It just blows my mind because it's so dull, but people
Yeah.
like that dullness. That's the thing. People like the minimalist, like this is what it is, and I'm just gonna keep going.
Yeah, it's weird to me that people will only ever play free to play. Like there's people who have just never played members because they like it. And I'm like, why? Like why don't you get members? It's so much better.
Yeah, no, I think for some people as well, it can be like overwhelming, kind of like just
It is
thinking
a
of
lot.
members. Like, oh, geez, like I don't even know where to start now.
Yeah, I
That's how I felt whenever I
honestly,
first made mine.
yeah, I
members.
had a little bit of that because I did play that free to play account for like a month straight, and then it was actually fun. Okay, after you play it for a while, you're like, all right, this is kind of cool. I don't like doing like the sweaty, like weird methods. I kind of am just like, all right, I'm gonna mine this like really annoying place to mine because there's no banks near any mines in free to play, and I'll just do this for like a month, and that'll be cool. But whenever
I relate.
I like made a new iron, made it members, and I was all like, okay, I want to get a fire cape. And I was like, wait, there's so much stuff that I have to do in between here and there. It was just like all the quests, all the skills. I
Oh
was like, I
yeah.
actually don't know where to start, and so I just logged off for a
Yeah, you
minute.
got so overwhelmed we had to go on a walk. He was like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. It's true though. Like you like on this account, my whole thing is I do not want any this sounds weird almost as a content creator saying this, but this account I don't want any expectations and I don't want any pressure. I just
Yeah.
want to and this is something that's held me back mainly for like the last couple of years. I think content creation, it's really easy to get like captured by your audience. This is my own projecting, by the way. Like this is how I've perceived streaming. So I would notice, a piece of content that I do that pulls more viewers or something. I'd be like, okay, like that's clearly
Yeah.
something I should probably do more of if I want to build my stream up. And then eventually you kind of just start slipping into a different play style where that's not even like what you would normally have wanted to do, but you just slowly ease yourself into it because you realize you're pulling more viewers.
I've definitely done that. Yeah, I know what you
Yeah.
mean.
And it's really not that big of a deal, but it's like the snowball effect. It like slowly like just creeps up over time where you're like, damn, like am I even playing am I doing what I'd want to do if nobody was watching me right now? Like what,
Yeah.
And again, there's like a
Exactly
balance.
me.
There is a balance to be had because as a content creator, you do want to be entertaining. You want to be providing like great content. But this account, I was like, you know what? I just want to have fun. I want to do exactly what I would be doing if I
Yay.
was playing this off stream, and that's how I'm taking this one at least.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. No, I felt the same way, and that's what I did with my like second or third Ironman. I forgot which. But like
25th.
I didn't do quests for like the first like 1,000 hours on that account because I just couldn't be asked.
Yeah.
What you
Yeah.
want. That's how since since getting like my in real life job now and not, dude, I was like so fucking poor streaming. Like it's not much money. But since I have an in real life job now, like I feel like I've become a shittier streamer, but I have like more fun because I'm just like, I'm gonna kill Scurrius for 3 hours. If
Yep.
you guys don't want to watch, I don't give a fuck. Like I'm gonna do whatever I want.
Yeah. I know that
Before I would only do raids. Now I'm like, I'm gonna do whatever I can.
that's actually like goals right there. Like you
Yeah,
just that's what everybody strives to go back to, because everybody that starts streaming does what they actually love initially.
yeah. And
And
then it just goes to like whatever people will watch. And now I'm like, I've
I
gone full
know.
circle. I'm back to just
That's
doing whatever.
amazing.
I don't have as much viewers, but I just don't look. And I just kill rat all day.
It's so much better. Like it's honestly, it's the worst thing ever as soon as money gets involved. It's like, God
Yes.
damn it.
Yeah.
Like why did this have to happen?
It
Even if you
sucks
try to
because
resist
it's
it.
smart. It's the smart thing to do, and it's natural. Like if you go and look at the directory right now, it's going to be people doing like dolo raids,
Yep.
a super
Could never be
obscurely
me.
locked account, or PvP. Like that's the top 100 like creators. So it sucks. That's just how it is. I don't know.
It's not Oscarius. I'm shocked by that.
Yeah, no one wants to like go over to your channel and be like, all right, what's this guy doing on this very regular account?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. I think um passion also, like if people can tell, even if you're doing something a little bit less engaging, if
Mhm.
people can tell you're just like all about it, it just radiates like passion to everyone
Yes.
else. It's like, okay, shit, like this guy's fun to watch because he's just so engaged in it. It's like, wow, it's kind of
Yeah.
mesmerizing.
And I've had like times where I'm just like doing raids and I could tell I'm like not really wanting to do it. And I just like am probably giving off a very bad vibe on streams because I'm like, well, I
Hmm.
have to do raids. It feels like those memes where it's like, okay, sweetie, I'll go do my raids.
It's actually,
Like,
I'm totally with you. I'm totally with you,
yeah,
by the way. It's just like exhausting. It's like, why do
yeah.
I don't even want to do this right now, but I feel obligated to. Like, why am I
It's
doing
so
this?
weird. Well, I feel like you're like a big enough streamer content creator. You could probably like just do whatever and people would have fun because you're just chill to watch.
No, that really is the case.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm blessed to be in an opportunity where like I honestly could just kind of do whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to do basically, is like just
Oh.
reimagine how streaming should be, because you can always just fall in. It doesn't even matter if this is like the exact thing you're falling into, like the thing I just
Mhm.
described, but like it can be anything. If as soon as like streaming becomes unfun, you got to like recognize like what is causing it.
Exactly, yeah. That's how I was for like whenever well also just whenever I first started this job. I haven't had an in real life job other than the streaming
Hmm.
since 2020. So it was like brutal at first. Like I was just very depressed all the time because I was like, I have no free time. I'm always tired. And I was just like so miserable. Like some nights I just like did not want to stream. But now I'm glad that I've like gotten used to it and it's like fun again. And I just
That's
like do
good.
whatever I want and don't look at who's watching.
Yeah, that's
It's
the
nice.
that's the real move.
Yeah, I like
So
it.
let's talk about your guys' podcast that's been running for how many years at this point?
I think we started in like February or March of 2021. So like 3.5 years.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
been a while.
We just had our 191st episode. We've only missed a few weeks because I had COVID. We've actually
Hmm.
been like pretty consistent
Yeah,
about
we've
getting it every
been
week.
really consistent. It was funny because whenever we were looking at like the podcasting space for RuneScape, there like wasn't really anything that was like more than like 10 episodes long at the time.
And that
Mm-hmm.
was a lot.
And
It's
then
pretty
it
cool.
was crazy within like the same month that we created ours,
I think XP
XP
Way
Waste
started the same month.
and it might have also been you. I forgot that it was like three podcasts all popped up at the same time, so it was like kind of weird.
Yeah, when did you start?
I started December 2020, so we were just months apart.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
yeah.
Nice.
that's what it was. It was crazy. Yeah, it went from like seemingly zero, no disrespect. I just don't listen to
Yeah.
RuneScape podcasts. So if
I'm
you
so
are an
sorry, guys.
OG,
The
but
Yeah, the only one I would give credit to, just because I do remember they were being pretty active, was Mint Mad Cow, Rice Cup, and Rakesy's podcast, OSR's podcast. Theirs was the only one that seemed to be pretty stable, like consistent wise. There were like some other clan podcasts that were very
Yeah.
irregular, but
yeah, I think
yeah,
those were the
I think
ones I
that's what we
saw.
saw.
Yeah.
So we were like, they haven't posted anything in like 3 months.
yeah, or years. There was a few clans that
Yeah,
just haven't
right.
posted in years. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, that was funny. We just everyone made a podcast during the pandemic, it seemed, and so we're just like,
I had like a true crime and a ghost podcast I used to do with my friend, and then me and Robert were like, we should start a podcast. And this is a random lore drop. We both were interested in web development for a little bit, and we're like, what if we made it about that? Thank God we didn't, because neither of us are into that now. But we would go on our little COVID walks every day. We would walk like we think we ended up walking like 5 miles a day because we would go like
yeah,
3 times a day and we just talk about RuneScape. And we're like, let's just make a RuneScape podcast.
Oh, that is so dope. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's cute. Like
Yeah, it
actually.
was
yeah.
fun.
Yeah. So
It's
so
nice.
yeah, go for it.
I was just gonna say it's nice because it's like the same thing that we were doing before, but now we do it on the internet, and
Yeah.
we get judged for it, so it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the fun part. Getting
People are
judged.
sometimes mean, but that's okay.
So let me hear that. Speaking on the mean top, well, just briefly. So one of the worst things about podcasting, in my own opinion, there's a lot of pros. I love it, but one of the worst parts is like I think the first year I had it the worst, where I would genuinely like be getting ready for bed, and then as soon as I'm in bed, I start just replaying like what happened that day or whatever, or that week, and I'm just literally replaying like my conversation that I had
Oh,
with
really?
somebody for like it's like a 3 hour conversation. We just shooting the shit with some guy, and I pinpoint every single awkward thing I did or said.
That's
And
the social anxiety. hitting
oh,
you
it's
in the
so
middle of
bad.
the
And I would
night.
just regurgitate it repeatedly until I like just made myself sick before sleep. And it was horrible because it's just like you can't worry about that. Like is what you
Oh, yeah.
said is published, it's online forever, but if you're going to dwell on it, you're going to just be completely paralyzed and you're not going to be able to do anything. So I had to like honestly learn to meditate just to
Oh,
stop thinking about every little thing I said that I thought was stupid, but I left in it.
I would do that like the first couple guests we had on, like I would think like that. And now I honestly our quality's not probably great because whenever I'm editing, I have it on double speed. I'm just watching the like bleep out swear words. Or if someone says
Mm.
something personal, I'll cut it out. And then I just like never listen to it again. I'm like, nope, I don't want to hear myself talking to them.
Yep.
Like, no, cringe, no. Like I went on the Gothics Res podcast and they
Mhm.
like published it and I was like, I'm not listening to that shit. Like I'm gonna sound so weird. Like, I don't need to know. I'm fine. One thing I do still think about, I feel horrible for.
Yeah.
I had Gluten Girl on the podcast.
Mhm.
Somehow OBS stopped recording for
Oh
2 hours.
no.
I felt so bad. So we ended up recording for like 4.5 hours.
Oh,
Just like
oh my
so
god.
bad. Oh, I felt like a chill go through my body when I realized. I
Oh
was
my,
like,
yeah, that is
it's
nightmare
not
fuel.
recording.
Yeah, Jesus, that is so bad. I had one where somehow it saved it. Somehow MKV, that little traffic cone thing,
Mhm.
that
Yeah,
Yeah.
software goes crazy. Like it can recover anything basically.
it
And it,
does. Yeah, it's really really good.
it was
What
surprising
the-
because honestly, I had recorded, this was I think episode like 7 or something or 8.
Oh yeah.
And so I was in the early days, and I recorded for like 2.5 hours, PC blue screens, like in the middle of the
Nice.
recording.
No.
I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. And so I open it back up, the file's not there, or it's like fully corrupted kind of. And anyway,
no.
luckily it all got saved because of MKV. Like fucking shout out. I don't know how it recovered it, but
Yeah,
that
that's
was
like one of
Look into
those.
that.
horrible.
That's like one of those like Wikipedia type of things where the guy that made it, he's like a Danish guy that made like the VLC media player, and he like instead of like, I guess it's like the guy that made WinRAR. Like instead of
Rar.
making everyone like pay for it, he's all like, this would just be cooler if you didn't, and so he
That's
just
nice.
has never charged for it.
I love that.
Those are like those rare, humble guys. I think of like Andrew Gower as one of those like rare
Yeah.
people that's just not money hungry. He just wants to make something that's cool.
I know it is so rare, but I love them for it.
I know. Dude, did
Dude,
you
since
hear?
you
Yeah,
did you play the new game? Sorry, I just
Bro,
was like,
no,
I
no,
forgot
no,
of his name.
This is honestly what always happens with some like trio podcasts. It's just for everybody listening. To be fair, actually, we have met in person. We actually did meet in Las
Yes.
Vegas, which is great. But most of the time, I haven't met the guests, and it's our first time ever talking. And we're just kind of like, okay, who talks? And we don't have any
The
visual
dynamic.
indicators, so yeah, everyone's used to it. But so I'll be interrupting on repeat most likely. But yeah, Brighter Shores did come out. I was planning. So for the past like few months, I had been like, okay, I think I'm gonna just jump into Brighter Shores right off the go, blind playthrough, and even make maybe like a mini series on it on my YouTube. And then as it got closer, I started kind of hesitating. I was like, I don't know if I'm actually gonna like this as much as I was kind of like putting in my mind, because I started like actually looking at it. And then I was like,
It's
okay,
different.
yeah. I was like, you know what I'll do? I will just watch some streamers day one, and if it looks amazing, it looks promising, I will jump on it. And it just didn't look that promising when I was watching people play it.
Yeah.
I feel like people really like it. Well, to be fair, I've never watched a stream of it or played it. I just saw a couple tweets saying that they really liked it. So I thought it was popular.
I think it's one, it's like a cult following, so I think people
Gotcha.
already want it to be good. So like the people that are just loving it, like they're already invested, like they've already kind of like made up their mind, like this is going to be a good game, like I'm going to enjoy this, and so they're kind of in that state. Now, to be fair, I want to say this right now, it actually does look like a pretty promising game. It's not RuneScape at all. It's got like that kind of RuneScape feel, but it's not like RuneScape. It's a little bit different, and so I think that's the thing that you just got to recognize it's a completely different game. It's more chill. It's more like, I would say, Stardew Valley-ish, where it's a lot more relaxed.
Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
That sounds tempting now.
I would say it's more like that. But I think I'm just kind of waiting for a series to come out, like preferably by some OSRS creator I already follow on YouTube. Them come out with a series where like they've actually reached a pretty substantial amount of progress in the game, and then they're like, okay, this game actually gets really, really fun at this point. Because if I see a very promising journey in the game where it's like, okay, this genuinely gets more and more addicting and fun the longer you go, that would be really appealing to hear. And then I'd probably give it a try.
I agree. I played it a little bit, and it was a little underwhelming. Especially, I mean, I think
just came out too.
a lot of people did go into it and like, oh, this is RuneScape again, and it wasn't, obviously, and so people were disappointed. But I think if you gave it a chance, it was like okay. And I think the coolest part is that you can see that Andrew is like obviously a community person, because people were disappointed, brought up their concerns, and he had like a really long post. He's like, oh, these are why these things are this way, and to like give it a chance, and his rationale for things, and it made a lot more sense after the fact. So it's nice. It seems like he obviously cares a lot about it,
and he's open to criticisms of it, which is nice.
Yes. He is so humble. He is very much community driven. And you know what is so great? It reminds me of those old forums back in the early 2000s when he first made RuneScape, and he's just like, calling out cheaters, just like listing them. It's just like, oh, fuck you guys, you're banned, motherfuckers. Like
even shaming them.
Just completely name and shame. And then, and the other thing is, he was just so locked in on his philosophy, which was you can play one account at a time. There is no cheating, absolutely no. If you cheat at all, we're banning you. Just no remorse, basically. And on top of that, we want this game to not be dictated by your in real life success. Like the money you can make in real life cannot determine your success in this game. So it was always, microtransactions were like forbidden, completely forbidden. And he always stuck to that. And even the tweets I've seen lately on Brighter Shores, he's kind of like resonated that same message where it's like, only one account at a time. We'll literally ban you if you're playing multiple Brighter Shores accounts at a time. Because he wants the game to remain pure, and he's going to go out of his way. He's going to be proactive about it. And I honestly admire that so much about a game developer that genuinely cares about the integrity of their game. They're not just like, okay, how can we milk as many people's credit cards as possible and then just let the game die?
Yeah, that's like RuneScape 3, right?
To a lesser extent, it's like RuneScape now. I mean, once you have investors, you're beholden to not the game.
Exactly.
So that's just how it is.
It's really hard. It's like, because everybody wants it. Like if you were a game developer, like let's just imagine you just had this game and somebody told you, hey, you have a great game, everyone fucking loves it, and let's just say you're making this amount of money. Well, we will literally 10x your money. All you have to do is just introduce this little Squeal of Fortune thing into your game or something. Just something minor, and you could just like play it off like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. People don't have to interact with it. But literally knowing you're going to make 10x your money if you just do this simple thing that's going to taint your game, but it's not going to destroy, it's just going to taint it until the end of time. But it's like, that would be so tempting for anybody to just make a ton of money just selling out kind of, and then you just slowly build on that, like just sell out a little bit more, you know. It's so tempting. I don't blame people.
I don't. I'd like to think I wouldn't, but no, I'd 100% sell out. Also, wait,
Yeah.
I'm at a random place bank standing, and
Mhm.
someone just said, "Are you who Sae Bae raided yesterday?"
Wait, what's their name?
Rob, their name is Lashonda. They're an iron.
I don't know them.
They spelled Sae Bae wrong. Should I
They
report
did.
them?
Yeah.
Yeah, report that for
I
just
mean,
name
they're in
name calling.
the Karamja mine, the
I'm here
gem
to hide
mine,
from people
so
so I could just stand
they
here.
should probably be banned anyways.
Whoa, I love the Karamjan mine.
No, I was just trying to find something.
Whoops.
Oh my
But
god.
yeah, I was gonna say more on that before this person, Lashonda, distracted me. I
Yeah.
feel like it's easier for people who already have a lot of money to care more about like the passion and be more like sweet about, which is like kind of lame because like if you're like poor, you know, you can't afford to not sell out
I
sometimes. But like
know.
he like
That's
has a lot of money already, right?
I mean,
Oh yeah,
He
hopefully.
must.
oh yeah, he's a multimillionaire as in like hundreds of millions of dollars worth. Like he's
Holy moly.
I mean, I'm
Okay.
pretty sure. Let me just look at literally. I think
Okay, look
he's
him up, look
worth
him up.
Andrew Gower net worth.
$100.
$100.
Why is
He
it
spent it on this game.
680 million?
See, like you can afford to
Uh,
not be a sellout. You have 680 million net
But the
worth.
thing is,
okay.
he did it before he sold RuneScape. Like
That's
he had that
true.
same philosophy of like that RuneScape, you know, could go down this path, but he resisted it for so long until he eventually just got so stressed out about running the game with all these
Yeah.
investors and everything. He's just like, I quit. Give me my cash out.
Dang, he should just buy RuneScape back. That'd be nice.
That would be
Oh,
crazy.
it last sold for what, like 500 mil or something?
No,
I might be
I think
wrong.
it's up to close to a bill now.
What? Yeah, people
Yeah.
think that RuneScape's like a small indie game. And I'm like, this game, Jagex is worth so much fucking money.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
it's
It's
that's
crazy.
why whenever people are like, oh, they need to raise the price of bonds to like pay for the mods checks and stuff. I'm like, no, they don't. They're making so much money. That's no.
Yeah.
I
No.
feel strongly about that. I'm sorry.
I mean, RuneScape is such a big game. It really is. And the thing is the longer they can go, I'm thinking old school particularly, like
Yeah.
the longer they can keep this really expanding cult following of old school RuneScape and keep the game somewhat pure. And what I mean by pure is just like just do not go down the path of microtransactions or selling out the game. And they've
Yeah.
done such a good job for like over a decade now with old school. And honestly, they just keep that up. I mean, I've been watching a lot of like YouTube videos on MMOs. They just
Yeah.
keep getting recommended to me. And it's so hard to come out with a new MMO because you just got these people that are hooked on what they grew up with. And so old school RuneScape is just like nobody, like I will literally never leave RuneScape because it's just ingrained in like my being at this point. And
Yeah. I feel the same
yeah,
exact
it's
way.
just,
I have a friend that just started playing. He's like, when do you win? And I was like, I think I'm gonna play this until I die. I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah.
You don't win. That's the secret.
Yeah, it's actually true though. Like it's weird as well. Like, what do you guys think about this? Is this a generational game? Like, is this a game where like no new kids are going to be playing it? It was just our
No,
generation will die with our generation, or do you have hope that younger people will join?
I have hope. I got my little brother to play it a few years ago when he was 12, so it was actually breaking the rules. And he was like into it. He didn't even let me give him a bond. He was like, I want to earn it myself. He ended up
Legend.
quitting, and it probably would have helped if I gave him a bond. But he liked it for a few months and stuff. So I was like, okay, the kids like this. But there's like a lot of I love RuneScape. Some of my closest friends from RuneScape. There's a lot of horrible people in this community too. So I want to be like, turn off your chat. Don't speak to anyone in the game just in case. Because like that
Yeah,
kind of deters kids. Like some of the
you're,
things you see
you're
people
right.
saying is not good.
Yeah, the community is definitely a lot more. I mature is the wrong word to say. I say mature as in like we're all older, but like yeah, we almost expect like the people that just kind of speak their mind on this game. They almost expect like everybody that's playing is like 25 plus. I mean, that's honestly how I
Yeah,
perceive the game at this point. To be fair,
I
but
think so too. And I'll be like swearing, and then I have to be like, oh my God, my brother played this when he was 12. Like I need to not
yeah,
talk about
or
like
just having
mommy
like
matters or
adult
something
like
right
everything's
now.
adult themed almost. It's just like the way we talk. It's
Yeah.
just like oh, we're just other adults. It's like whatever. But yeah, you got to be A little bit
There
more
is
mindful.
actual children that play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's not generational. I think back then people were more chronically on the game because there wasn't like a
Other
ton
games.
of options, you know, but like especially now, obviously the game is slow, so I feel like if you want to go for that vibe, you'll play it even as a younger person, but if like you just like are zooming or something, then you'll hop on whatever fast-paced game that is because
Hmm.
that's definitely not this game for the most part. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. I think people will enjoy it, but because they have more options, maybe
I
for
think
like
everyone needs a
less.
grindy game to go with their zooming games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's something just so pure about old school RuneScape. I'll have these random moments where it just it's almost like a little glimmer of like, oh my god, this game really is perfect. Like I tend to become like jaded about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
like I just play this game so much. I don't even think about how awesome it is. And I'll get these little moments and I'm just like, you know what, this game's great. Like it's honestly great. It's everything I've ever wanted in a game genuinely since I was a kid. Just
Aw.
like open world, do whatever you want, endless progression, and on top of that, this is the craziest part that people don't honestly like recognize a lot of the time. It's a rhythm game, and I have always been addicted to rhythm games. Like I
Wait, what do
played
we mean
Donkey
rhythm game?
Konga and Guitar Hero when I was a kid
Is it
all the
like
time. Like
what does a rhythm game mean?
I just mean like the whole game runs on a tick system.
Yeah.
Oh.
Every single action is zero point 0.6 seconds, and it make like the entire game is rhythmic because of that. It's like it's just ingrained in this rhythm,
Okay.
and so when you start feeling that and you start learning how to like prayer flick right and being able to do it on tick and everything, like all of a sudden the game just starts feeling like a little like flow state. Like it just feels bouncy, sort of like it's just everything is tick based. Like I don't know, and I
Yeah.
don't know how to describe. I've played way too many hours of RuneScape, but
Well, the way you're saying it, like, I kind of have like those moments too where I'll just sit there and like, it sounds so cheesy. My heart feels full, and I'm like, wow, I'm having fun. I really like this game. That's
yeah,
why I feel so good. You talking like that, like, made my heart feel full. I was like, yeah, this is a good game.
it is. I love it.
And then I go back to like Scurious, and I'm like, actually,
Yeah,
no, this isn't a good
yeah,
game. What am
yeah.
I
No, no,
talking
no.
about?
You just gotta have those little glimmers, the little moments that like recalibrate your love for the game. It's like, okay, yeah, I do like this.
Exactly.
Dude, that's so funny because I,
You hate this game. You're a hater.
well,
The
I
people
don't
that
know,
are
dude.
the biggest haters are actually the biggest lovers, technically, because they just.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
people
no.
will be like, I don't like listening to Robert. He's a hater. And I'm like, he feels passionate about because he likes this game.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
Uh,
I didn't grow up on this game really. Like I played it, but I played like World of Warcraft primarily growing up.
mm,
So, and it's not like I like fantasize or, like put World of Warcraft on a pedestal. It's just like whenever I play games, I don't know if I've like been disillusioned or disenchanted by like video
mhm,
games nowadays, but like I just look at all of them critically at like how good they could be. It's kind of like a
mhm.
pessimistic view, I guess, but it's not because I hate it. It's because I wish it could be so much better. Like
mm.
I know it could be better.
And is that benchmark for you, World of Warcraft? Is that kind of how you compare it? Like the good.
He
Yeah,
always compares it to WoW.
I
Okay.
do compare it to WoW a lot, but no, it's not really a benchmark. Like I think there's different aspects of each game that are just like better than others. Like
Hmm.
no one game for me has like everything
Except for RuneScape.
Yeah.
except for RuneScape. Yeah.
I would agree. Like I think I do the same thing, except with it's not World of Warcraft. It is old school. Like when I play
Yeah.
other games, I want them. And old school is not perfect by any means. Like I would say I'm pretty annoying as well when it comes to like just kind of having like a negative outlook on the game. Like I don't
Yeah.
actually feel that way, but I tend like people may perceive it that way when I'm like being overly critical about updates and things. It's just
Yeah, but you're critical because you care.
it's because I care, and it's also because I understand that this game actually is community driven. So if you actually say how you feel about the game and are wanting change, like change will actually happen. Like you start recognizing, and especially I'm definitely in a really privileged position to actually have people listening to me that
Hmm.
want to, that even, and I've talked to like some J mods on the podcast, and some
You're
of
like
my
Mod
ideas
Ash
have
on.
leaked in.
Sheesh.
Yeah, yeah. That was awesome. That was honestly like the thing with Mod Ash. Like I was so like the first episode we had, I had like posted it to Reddit, and there was like a bunch of negative comments on it, like, "Oh, Sae Bae fucking sucks at interviewing. All he did was just read a bunch of all the tweets that he's asking for topics."
So
And
mean. Oh my
it's
god.
Reddit, it's fucking Reddit, so everyone's anonymous, kind of, and they can just say
there.
whatever. Yeah. It's just like I'm already used to it. Like I've had Reddit posts made about me, which is all negative, but I took it constructively, and I was like, you know what? They actually do have some valid points. Like I didn't interview to my best ability and stuff. And what's crazy is I didn't even reach out to Mod Ash. Mod Ash reached out to me like 2 weeks after the cast without me saying anything. And he's like, "Hey, I saw like the podcast. It went pretty well, and I saw the Reddit thread. It was a little bit like had some criticisms against, or like I don't know how he said it. He said it so kindly and politely, but he was like, "Hey, I'm willing to come back on if you want like a round 2." And I'm like, "Oh my god, like yes, like please."
That's so sweet.
So we got a round 2 just a couple months later. Yeah, he's awesome. He's so sweet. Like.
That's dope.
Yeah, so I got that like round 2, and I was like, you know what? You're offering me this round 2. I'm gonna really try to like just ask you questions, be in the interview in the moment. Because the thing is, with the first interview with Mod Ash, I did ask for a bunch of topics on Twitter, and I didn't want to be that guy that like asks for topics and then just ignores them all. So
yeah,
it was like a tightrope to walk of like, how much do I interview you based on my own questions, and how much am I trying to engage the community with their questions? And then everyone got pissed that I engage with community questions because it's questions that are asked all the time on Twitter. So.
Yeah, it sucks because you'll always run into that. Even if it's perfect, someone will be like, "Oh, but you didn't answer my question," or you asked it the wrong way. It's a weird line to walk.
Yeah. Now, so you guys have had a few guests. Most of your podcasts are just you two.
Yeah,
talking about like
anxiety.
game updates and stuff. Oh no, I'm with you 100%. Like I had to I basically had to like make this podcast just myself, because if I had somebody else, I would just never want to bring on guests, because I'd be too comfortable. I'd be like, no, this is great as it is.
I know the fact that you just do it alone, I think is very admirable, because I'm just like, I could not keep putting myself out there like that. Like, oh, that's scary to me.
It is. It actually is scary, but you just keep doing it, and it's just like whatever. So how many guests have you guys had on?
This is surprisingly, I mean, I don't know if this will be good or bad, but this is the first podcast I've ever been on with a guest.
What?
Wait, well, besides sparring.
Oh, you've been as
as a guest.
You've been the guest. Okay.
Yeah, because we've had.
What are you talking about?
We had Sparry on, Sparring Bird, and they were our
podcast, but you didn't join me.
Yeah, they were our guests, but I've never been on another person's podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Our own podcast, I feel like we've had like 10 people. I don't know.
I don't know.
Every once in a while, I'll randomly be like, "Do you want to go on?" And then all week, I'm like,
yeah.
Well, yeah, I think Michelle does all of them, because like I've only done the one with Sparring Bird, and then now this one with you. Oh,
Eat Great.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. So like when there is a guest, it'll be like Michelle and the guest rather than all three.
Yeah. He gets a little social anxiety about it. So like that's why I was so surprised he joined today, and I'm so glad he did, because I also get the social anxiety. I just do it anyway.
Yeah.
So, like,
I'm honored. I'm glad to take your podcast virginity, or what? What am I getting?
Oh my god!
Whoa! I mean, yeah, for sure. But yeah, whoa. No, it's kind of funny. It's like, it is the social anxiety thing, but also like, I don't like whenever I listen to podcasts, which is rarely, like whenever, people are like cutting in, it doesn't really kill it for me, but I just don't want to be a part of that. So it's like, so usually like, especially if there's 4 people, I'll just be like, all right, we'll cut it down to 3. I can go do something else. Like, it's fine. But like, that's usually why I don't join. And also because like, I know that a lot of people think like some of my opinions are like weirdly inflammatory. So I'll kind of just be like, remove myself from that, so that like people don't feel like they can or can't say something that I'll like call them out on or something.
Yeah.
I just don't want to make it weird, essentially.
Let me actually ask you, what is your most like hot take, like something that you get like heated about with old school RuneScape?
There's a few things.
Nothing that I get like really heated about, but like, I don't know.
You get randomly intense about a lot of things.
I do too, but so I'm curious what yours like are, if we match up.
Yeah, it's kind of just like a really long list of like, well, one,
everything.
Like I hate like I can be really negative about the game just based on like patch notes because I can kind of
Dude, he
like
gets kind of mean reading the patch notes. He's like, the
yeah.
person that wrote this is illiterate. And I'm like, okay, you need to chill. Like, that's their job.
It's
Like,
like
calm down.
well, it's like I can like I kind of like whether it's right or wrong, I'll like super analyze whatever the patch notes are, and I'm like, you're doing
Mhm.
this because of this reason, and that reason's dumb. You're dumb. This is a bad change.
Yeah.
You get a little mean sometimes.
So what
Yeah, I
was
don't know.
what was the last one you would say that would just like was like that's wrong?
You were
Can
pissed
you?
that Guardians of the Rift changes took so long, and you were talking shit about that.
Well,
You're
yeah,
like, why
that
do
for
they keep
sure.
saying this stuff and then it doesn't go out? He doesn't say it like yelling. I don't know why that's my impression of him, but
It's
We're gonna
honestly
actually
like
listen to the
every other
podcast, and
patch.
Rob's gonna be just like actually so
he
chill, and
just
just like
Just
Michelle's like just like
scream.
hyping it up. He's like he gets so angry.
yeah.
Like,
No, that's the I'll never like raise my voice or get like excited or anything like that, but I'll
Even when you are excited, you're like very monotone.
unfortunately because I am monotone, I'll just say like the most cutting words, but like in this normal tone. So people will think like I have like this like superiority complex or something, but this is just how I talk, and I'll
yeah.
just say like really damning things like this. So pe- people will take it as like I'm more invested than I am, but like I just like calling people out
Yeah.
I
generally.
feel like when the bombs were raised, that one got you kind of tilted. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously you started a free to play in protest.
That shit's really annoying because people, yeah, when people are coming out in defense of them raising the price of membership and,
They're like a huge company. They couldn't afford to not raise the
I'm like,
membership.
the devs aren't seeing any of this. You guys know that, right? Like you're defending a bit like $1 billion company. You look dumb.
Yeah.
Gosh, you're getting intense again.
It's just, I don't know. Like it's not one thing about the game. Like I'm not like, oh,
Yeah.
if you like Cobb, you're stupid. Like it's just general small things that people like covet. I'll just like tear to shreds
Hmm.
because it's I don't do stuff like that, I guess.
I get really passionate about like I've definitely toned back just because I realize a lot of the time it's just not worth even using up my own energy to
Yeah.
Yeah.
protest it. But I would say the last things that like really bothered me or like was like the Scar Essence mine for Ironman. Like that bothered me so much.
Wait, why did that bother you?
Yeah.
It bothered me so much. And the thing is it's all kind of explain it like briefly, but
Yeah.
I'll say this part first. I literally talked to a JMod when those change they hadn't even been implemented, but they had been proposed and they were about to be implemented. And the JMod literally reached out and he's like, "Yeah, like I watched your video. I understand all your points, and honestly, some of the devs completely agree with you. But the problem is like what you would ultimately desire and what we would honestly desire would just take so much time that like we just decided to kind of take the short route with the Scarson's mind because we just didn't see it as that
Kind of
big of a deal.
lame.
So,
Yeah, they do that a lot.
I'm like, why? Oh, that's kind of
well,
lame. Like, put in longer work.
yeah. Well, the thing is like people at that time, like there was a problem with like getting blood runes. People wanted to use their
Oh, yeah.
scythes. Like Ironmen wanted to use their scythes, and they didn't want to have to go runecraft, and they didn't want to go world hopping to buy all their blood runes. And so everybody at that point was just demanding that they come out with blood rune packs or something to just get
Oh,
your blood runes way easier. And
I
I had
remember
always
this
kind of
talking about for a
resisted
while.
it. I had resisted it because in my head it was, why don't we just make rune crafting genuinely a reasonable way to get runes at a like decent rate, so
Yep.
truly rethink how we can make rune crafting truly profitable, truly worthwhile, not a complete fucking waste of time that a lot of people see it as. and
Yeah.
and, and I even provided legitimate ways that we could like go down this route of like truly pimping out rune crafting without breaking the game at all. It would be fully balanced and it would just make a lot more sense. But instead, it's like, okay, here we're just gonna come out with a Scar Essence mine that you just like dump money into, and you just get runes in return, like a shit ton, like 60x. It's literally
Yeah.
60x the amount of. It's just like, what the fuck is this? And the thing is like it completely goes counter to Iron Man's spirit, which is like you
Yep.
get your resources yourself, and now it's just funneling GP into whatever you want. And I brought up the example, and I understand. I'm going a little bit longer than I wanted to on this point, but I just need to make
No,
it
go
clear. Like,
on.
Nah, man.
I love this.
but like people were upset or people would keep saying like, well, there already is a way to buy runes because we already have rune shops as an Iron Man, and and so that's a reasonable thing to say, because what I was saying was like, imagine there was a way to just, funnel in your GP stack into whatever, like Ceridome Brews or gold ore or whatever. You just dump a bunch of this and all of a sudden start extracting thousands and thousands of gold ore because you dumped in some GP. That's what the Scar Essence feels like. And so people would, say, well, look, there is no way to just buy massive amounts of whatever resource anyway, except for runes right now, because we do have dedicated rune shops for irons. And so anyway, there was kind of like a reason why I could see Scar Essence not being the worst thing ever, but I kind of also saw it as a slippery slope where, like, if we start introducing Scar Essence because people are just too lazy to go craft their own runes, where does it stop potentially? Like, are we going to do this down the road when people are struggling with some other resource on an Iron Man? Are we going to come up with some simple little private server way to just generate a bunch of it?
Yeah, right.
No, I super agree. And this is where I get more hate, is where, like, instead of, stopping where you are, I'll take it one step further. And
they're stupid.
This is a dumb idea.
Oh my God.
An incredibly dumb idea. And people that say, oh, you can shopscape, that's one of the worst parts of Iron Man. I don't know if people think that's a good part. It's not. So that's not a good justification.
It's kind of weird that traditional rune crafting is not actually the go-to. I'm like, that's the whole thing.
And it's so easy to rebalance. It's not like an easy thing to like plug in and everything and like, just actually put into the game. But like in theory, like the actual ideation of how can we really balance RC to be like really great. It's honestly a pretty simple concept. I even provided my own little like way of how we could get by and craft tons and tons of runes per hour, but actually keep it balanced. I had like some video on it. And for those that are interested, it's called like Cosmic Underworld Sae Bae. You can look that up on YouTube if you guys are actually curious.
I'm gonna go watch it.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like long-winded. It was like it was published like a year ago, so. But
yeah, no, I think you're super right, and it sucks because I think a lot of people will misconstrue our words as being like, oh, the mods are lazy, they should just do it the right way. It's like mods at the end of the day want the game to be the best. The thing is, they answer to Dad Jagex, so it's like,
it's not actually their choice really. They're just like told to put this out. Probably.
If they could spend 4 months making runecrafting the way everyone knows it should be, or mining the way it should be, like whatever shit skill you want to bring up, like obviously they want to do that. They don't have the 4 to 9 months to redo this thing that won't see any increase in gameplay for like players and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the other thing. And it's like the way I want the game to be, like the vision I have for the game is not like, that's irrelevant. Like this game is for everybody, and so like the way I want to see like this pure game, like it's got to go this way because this feels right for me. Like I have to take a step back and be like, you know what, like the Scar Essence mine did not ruin this game. It's not the end of the world. It kind of bothers me still, but ultimately there's updates that'll bother me, and it's just whatever. But I'm still gonna voice my concern. The thing I don't voice my concern on anymore is botting, though. That feels honestly pointless to like constantly complain about botting. I fucking hate it so much, but genuinely, like, nobody seems to care about the actual
no one
problem
cares
with it. It's just
my hot take is, I literally don't. I know botting's bad. I don't really understand why it's bad. Like, because I don't interact with them. So I'm just like, I see someone botting and I'm just like, oh, I'm just going to ignore. I have someone in my chat. To be fair, I think he was drunk, but he was like arguing with someone that was like spam botting at the GE, and someone had to tell him, like, they're not like reading your messages. Like, that's not a person.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I just ignore it. Like, I don't get it.
The thing is, you don't think you interact with them, but especially as a main, you do every day.
Every time I buy stuff, probably.
Every day.
Well, maybe I like botting then. If I
no, see that's exactly like that's exactly the poison of botting. It gets people like being like, oh, I actually like it because my resources are cheaper, and so that genuinely, like, seriously, I will get old. Like on old videos I published years ago, I'll get random comments, and I'll just, to this day, where it's like I'll have been talking about botting, and some guy will respond, it's like, dude, if there was no botting in this game would have fucking died by now. I'm like, what? Like, where is this info coming? Are you just like making up stuff? Like people, and I totally understand if you're a complete casual to this game and all, it's like, oh my god, my sharks are only 600 GP each. Thank you, bots. Like I can afford my sharks. The problem is like, bots make stuff cheaper, but that's also what it has negative consequences. The only thing, this is the one argument that honestly makes me kind of reconsider my position on botting, is just the fact that when I see what the devs are trying to do is, or at least what I see them trying to do, is like they're really trying to make this game a little bit more PVM oriented. And we've seen it over the years where it's like PVM is what the most people engage with. Not everybody, but the majority of people want to engage more with PVM. And so they've just started like shitting out resources with PVM and stuff. But like botting, if there was no, like if we lived in a world where there was no bots, like you could genuinely do the most like menial tasks and make bank from it.
Yeah.
That's
and like
true. I think of it as like buying stuff for cheaper, but I don't think about the fact that I'd be making way more money selling stuff if there was no bots.
Yeah. And you could take advantage of the things that really are monotonous. So if you're one of those, you know, autistic people like myself that would just be totally down to just fucking mine a rock on repeat if it was crazy profit, like I would do that. Like I would just if you could truly just like chop trees and make bank, like I would do that. Some people wouldn't want to engage with that, but like that would be such a cool universe to live in if RuneScape had no bots, because truly you could just figure out the market and be like, hey, what are the things that truly people don't want to grind, and I'll grind that. And everything, like the supply and demand would balance out and everything, and there would be some like really interesting skilling that could be truly profitable. And it would honestly make the game, in my opinion, feel a lot more like interwoven, like where skilling truly means so much and it makes you so much money. Because that honestly,
not just to level up.
It felt, I know that's the game we're playing, where like everything, skilling is a means to an end. It's not the end itself. It's like, no, this is just like, get this shit over with so you can max or whatever, or get this shit over with so you can get to this point in PVM. It's just so pathetic. If it was worth your time truly to do that, to like skill, that would be incredible. That's what it used to be at the beginning of old school as well. Like the money maker was double nats. So if you just did this most menial thing of all time and made piss low XP rates, you're making 1.8 mil an hour, which is crazy in the early days.
I didn't know you used to be able to make that much. Nice.
Even not that long ago, it wasn't. Yeah, not that long ago it was like that, or like really high still.
I just look at money makers and I'm just like, no, I'm gonna go lose money instead and do weird grinds.
Yeah.
I kind of hate that, like, you know, in the similar line of thinking, there, if you like want to get like a lot of a resource, it's not like, oh, let me go mine a bunch of coal or go to MLM or something. It's like, oh, let me go kill Zulrah.
Yeah.
It's very PVM based, isn't it?
What the hell, dude?
And it kind of makes sense. So this is where I kind of agree with people, is like, people aren't like me. Like I would be willing to, like what I'm doing right now, I'm fucking jumping across roofs right now. Like I don't mind this. I honestly don't mind this, but people find this absolutely intolerable. Like they're just like, I fucking hate my life. Like I have to run these rooftops. Every lap is just agonizing. It makes me want to dig my nails into my skin. Like it's just horrible. But for me, I don't see it that way. But a lot of people are truly just PVM locked. Like their eyes are just like, I want to PVM. And that is where a lot of the fun is. I agree with it to some extent. Like when you get into like a big PVM grind, it's truly like the most fun you'll probably have in the game for a lot of people, rather than like some mining grind or whatever. But so that's kind of the argument where it's like, okay, I can see, because PVM truly is just like, I would almost say objectively more fun, I guess, just with the majority of players. It's like, I can see why they're trying to make PVM more profitable and more of the thing that you're doing most of the time, because it keeps people engaged in the game.
One thing that's been helping me, like I'm not maxed. I'm not necessarily trying to get maxed. I'm just like, I skill when I skill and it'll happen someday. But something that's been helping me a lot that I've started the last few months is working on collection logs for skilling. Like I did the Worm Agility, I green logged. Ape Atoll, I just green logged. Like that grind was awful, but afterwards, once you finish, it's just like, this game is so fun. And like, I'm forgetting the 20 hours I spent at Ape Atoll. And I'm doing like Brimhaven Agility. And I'm like, oh wow, agility is not that bad if you like have mini goals. Because if your goal is just leveling up, it feels like shit. It feels so bad.
Yeah, if you're just staring at the XP tracker, just like
exactly,
it's horrible.
Like 3,000 laps to go.
Yeah, but if you're looking at like collection logging, you're like, oh, I'm like halfway done with my tickets. Then it feels way better. I think that collection logging is like, makes skilling more fun.
It does. Like right now, right now, these rooftops honestly feel great because one is Varlamorian Graceful's out. So that is like the first thing I really want on this account is I want to
graceful.
I want to get slutty graceful. There we go.
It's so cute.
Yeah. It is. It's
Yeah,
dope.
I love it.
Yeah, I like those little grinds too. Like I like mining a lot. I know everyone hates it.
You love MLM, which is
and
weird to me.
I don't think it's good content, but yeah, I think it's fun. I don't know.
Good content to you. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I really don't think it's funny because I'm like, I guess probably like you said, the opposite of like most regular players. I don't think the PVM in this game is super engaging, so I actually kind of just like the skills as they are.
You're a skiller.
I
But you
mean,
like Tob.
yeah, I like Top. Top is a really well done raid, but
It is.
it's not like I hate PVM. It's just I just don't think it's as good and like
As MLM.
as MLM. Yeah, I don't know. Like it's not like super engaging.
I think I'm kind of with. I would say I lean more on your view of the game, where like I need the skilling.
Really?
Like I could not just play this game if it was PVM oriented. I lose interest if there's not like a foundation of like skilling and just monotonous grinding,
it's-
level
you
go
need a
up, like
balance.
number go up. Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice because I don't think I could do anything completely. I could not just PVM only. I could not just skill only. Like it has to be a good
Yeah.
mix of it.
I
Otherwise,
agree.
I'd just be like over it. I think that's what
Yeah.
makes RuneScape so special. Is there's like, oh my god, it's not like I'm talking about my child, but there's just so many things to do. It's like endless.
Yeah, I like the combination of like like when it feels like all the skills like come together or like if you like all that stuff is nice. PVM is fun because like you said it's rhythmic, so like once you get everything down, like each step, each tick, what's going to happen next. Like that feels really rewarding, but also I like, and this is like a separate thing, like I hate it when they take the easy way out of like skills and don't like incorporate skills requiring other skills and stuff like that, because I like the cohesiveness of the skill system in the game, and that feels really rewarding. So like we were just talking about this last podcast where it's like whenever they add easy way outs for Ironman, instead of like adding a smithing requirement, they're just like, oh, pay this guy $1 million and he'll do it for you. Like I
How
hate
like building the gear for you, upgrading
see.
it.
yeah, like I hate stuff like that because the cohesiveness is like the cool part for me. So when you just skip that, I'm like, oh, what's the point?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think they've actually done a pretty decent job. Like there are exceptions, like you just said, but I was worried genuinely that because I had played like a max iron for so long, all the new updates they were coming out, for some reason in my eyes, it didn't seem like everything was being very cohesive. It seemed like there were like these huge jumps in like gear progression and things. But having made like a new account with like the hardcore group and now this account, like I honestly really recognize how well the JMods honestly have balanced like gear progression and being able to like have a cohesive skilling to PVM thing. Like a lot of the time you can like bypass requirements, and I think the reason they do that is just so there are options. Like if you truly fucking hate smithing on your Ironman or whatever, and you got an Ellie that was spooned, here we're gonna give you the option to bypass this little requirement because whatever, it's going to cost you a little bit more. And if you have the requirement, it's going to be cheaper for you. But sometimes having those options, I understand where they're coming from, where it's like you still have the cohesiveness, but you can bypass it if you just don't care about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got to ask because it's really recent. What do you think about the chivalry stuff?
Okay.
Yeah.
That is great. That's a great point to bring up. So I am fully on board with Pure's being able to use chivalry. I basically had been I'm pretty indifferent to it because I'm just not getting involved in the conversation. But from the get-go, I was like, this literally makes sense. And if you've ever played on an account that doesn't have piety, bro, clicking 3 different prayers for a defensive strength and accuracy is fucking obnoxious. That's so archaic. Like, it's so archaic, and it honestly, like, I judge people for... I understand the argument of why people don't want it because they're like, you chose to play this way. This is what you get. But, dude, it is just purely lacking empathy, in my opinion, to just have that as your argument of, like, fuck you, you chose to be this.
Too torturous.
Yeah, it's just so stupid. It's like, dude, this literally does not affect anybody else. Like, this is purely great quality of life. Nobody fucking uses chivalry anyways. It was the one time somebody will use chivalry, and it just makes perfect sense to me. I'm like, dude, just give it to them. And now it's become a fucking meme, similar to the gnome cube. I don't know if you've ever heard my rants on the gnome cube that I've just been demanding, but it becomes
I
a meme.
haven't.
It becomes a meme where it's like now people are just like, it's either you're for or against it, and if you're against it, it's now just completely dogmatic. It's just like it's a meme. It's become memeified, and so like the pure example is like, oh, the chivalry, like I'm tripling down at this point because the conspiracy minded people are like, Jagex is gonna force it down our throats anyway, so let's just keep fucking resisting the
Oh my
chivalry
God.
for peers.
I don't think it's that deep.
It is that deep for some people. That's the thing.
You
It's
think
creepy. It's
so?
weird.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Probably.
weird.
I know Michelle keeps looking at me because I think she thinks that I'm like contrarian to what you just said.
I want to
But
hear it. I want to hear it if you
it's
do.
no,
You
it's
have a different idea that you'd like, which I think is good.
well, you're not wrong. It's not dogmatic like that. Where it is like it's a weird in between where I agree that like if you make a limited account, you made a limited account. Like
Mhm.
why would you make that if you don't want the limits? Like don't cry to me if that's your problem.
Mhm.
But also I don't have a problem with chivalry being free to, or being
Free to play.
for peers or whatever. Like I couldn't care less. It won't affect me.
Mhm.
But I guess my thought process is like that's a okay fix. I have two problems being like one where does it end?
Mm.
Kind of like what I understand it does make it easier
Mhm.
and that's the point. But like will this make it so like other prayers in the future like will we give easier access to piety or easier
Yeah,
access
yeah.
to like rigor? Like obviously getting rigor is like I mean, for sorry for the pun, but it is a rigorous process going through chambers and just
But
doing that a
Yep.
bunch. So it's like one, I'm slightly worried about that, and two, I really see the main problem not being for a lot of people. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you never use chivalry, so what's the point?" And for me, I'm like, okay, that's because they both come from the same spot. So why not make piety come from in a more achievable or like more
uh,
regarded place, like a raid or something? Because it doesn't make sense that it comes from the same spot,
Mm.
and that's why chivalry is not used.
I think people would just throw a bitch fit though if you made piety harder to get. I think it would make sense because all the other ones are way harder to get. But everyone's so used to it now. People are mostly just used to stuff being made easier. If you made something harder, I feel like they'd
Yeah.
be like little Falador riots.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. But yeah, that's why I was like, it's definitely not black and white. Like, there's more like problems in my eyes than just to like, oh, just make chivalry available. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, sure, whatever. If
Mhm.
that's all it was, then that's not a problem.
The other that makes sense. One of the other things I like actually about chivalry is them adding it actually encourages pures to, because a lot of the time you only really need to get to whatever prayer level. Like if you want overheads for, I feel like pures don't even really care about overheads that much. They just care about like protect item and like ultimate strength, which is level
Yeah.
31 prayer. So you already get pretty much the same strength level at half the prayer level. So getting 260 prayer is increasing your combat level. So for pures, it already is a give and take. So it's not just like you introduce chivalry and now every single pure just needs to get chivalry because it's barely an upgrade. It's like, what is it? 18 strength. So it literally boosts you 3% to get 29 more prayer levels. I just think when you see the whole like give and take of it, it's actually introducing more variety into the pure build as well. So it's like you could still
Okay.
have a lower prayer level. You could go for chivalry if you wanted. I would even be okay at this point if they just added. This is something I've been wanting. Is I was completely opposed to Ruinous Powers prayer book. They were trying to
Oh,
implement
yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
I think that like the idea of it sounds nice, but as soon as you start seeing the implications and just how they're implementing it, it just can't work without it just fully replacing the standard prayer book. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
we do have, as you guys see in the prayer tab, like we do have 6 available slots that would are available for higher level prayers potentially. And I don't know. I wouldn't be against some level like 90 prayer that has
Yeah.
some.
I agree. Like whenever they're doing Ruinous Powers, it's like you could just add a couple more prayers that are
Yeah,
higher
yeah.
instead of having a whole new prayer book. Because like some of those prayers were nice. Like I got that during leagues last year. I unlocked Ruinous
Mm.
Powers and it was cool. It's like you're not using all of these. Like they're not all necessary. You could just introduce some. They seem
Yeah.
they're very like all or nothing sometimes, you know? They're
Yeah.
like, we can't just introduce 5. We have to do 30 or 0. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
that's
No.
not that
And
serious.
honestly, if they really want it, this is something that's a bit more of like an overhaul, but
Mhm.
most people, any sane person is not using the first 3 rows of prayers like ever. Like,
Right?
unless you're like a pure and you're using just these basic prayers until the end of time. But like most people just use those final few sections of prayers. And so what if like, and let me just add, this is kind of like theoretical for you guys as well, is like, what if we just combined the burst of strength, the clarity of thought, and the thick skin into one combo melee prayer? Like, why can't everything be like a chivalry and a piety when it comes to those melee offensives and defensives? Like, if
That could be kinda
that would
cool.
clear up, so first of all, it would clear up all this nonsense of having to turn on 3 prayers for melee, and
Yeah.
you would clear up a bunch of room for potential prayers in the future as well, and even lower prayer level prayers that are unique, and we can decide if this feels balanced and right. And you could actually come out with some really cool prayers, and it could just be one at a time. And it's like, hey, you got this brand new prayer from this boss, and I think going that route is just so much cleaner. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't
I
know.
like that. And you could just like make it a drop that's like a scroll somewhere that goes and like combines them. So you still like you have to work for it, I guess, if they want
Hmm.
you to.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I mean, it's kind of rude to my rock skin locked Iron Man, but
Thick skin boy. Yeah.
yeah,
It's getting better.
thick skin. Yeah, yeah. I think it would be cool. I mean, there's a lot of innovation. Honestly, I see prayer kind of like the combat equivalent of mining, where it's like obviously in need of help, but I don't know. It feels like a big project, so they're like maybe never gonna do it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. And they have to cater, like the devs have to cater to so much. It's like they have a player base that wants the game to stay pure. Like there
Mhm.
is this minority of players that wants the game to not change. So they have to kind of listen to them. They also have to listen to the super progressives that want the game to just be completely redesigned.
Yeah.
That's a smaller group as well. But then you just have the basic players that just don't make too big of changes. I want the game to be recognizable in 3 years, so don't start going crazy. And I feel like the devs have struck like a perfect balance of like, in 3 years from now, you can pretty much guarantee this game will look and feel the same, but there will just be a lot of new content added and a lot of quality of life that hasn't altered the game's identity. And they've done that
Yeah.
successfully for a decade.
I well, it's weird because there's like people that I know. I know someone that quit playing because sailing got approved and they thought it was going to change the game too much. And I'm
Hmm.
like, it's I don't. I think that they do strike like it correctly, but I think people also are just every some people just like take every little change and think that that's game changing when you can just ignore the combat or not the combat, the content rather.
Hmm.
It's like if they like change the prayer and you don't like it. I guess it's the same thing with chivalry because I'm not opposed to chivalry changing. I'm just like if you don't like it, just don't interact with it.
Hmm. Yeah,
But I can
yeah,
see the other side of that too, where people are like, well, if you just say it to everything, you know, you'd get like EOC or whatever. But
yeah. Everything's gray. Nothing's completely black and white. So those like
Mhm.
randomly like those little cliches of like, oh, it's not affecting you, so just like whatever. Like you still have to. It's the same thing with when I would get upset for years of people alting Ironman mode. Like this is
Yeah.
more of a problem like long ago when integrity mattered a bit more. Is like you as easy as it is to say like, dude, just play your game, quit worrying about it, quit worrying about what happens to anybody else. It's like you do have to though, because this game isn't just a single player game, it is multiplayer.
Yeah.
And so when people like when I really had a problem back in the day with the corp alting on Iron Man, because
Did it upset you? People didn't.
it didn't upset me that people did it, because I never blamed the player for taking advantage of what was available in game. It
Yeah.
was just the fact that it was an option. And the thing is that, just to paint like the picture very clearly of how it used to be, it was like corp used to be 5 kills an hour if you had like best in slot
Jeez.
gear back then, because you
Mhm.
would hammer it down, BGS it, and then just spear it down basically. And that was like the method. And then it was discovered that, oh, you could just have 2 alts and you can increase that 5 kills an hour to 13 to 14 kills an hour. So
There you
you're
go.
literally getting 2.5 to 3 times the amount of kills per hour, which is crazy. I mean, it's just like, because Corp's like a 1,000-hour grind. So you just cut that down, 3x. You're looking at like a 400-hour grind instead, or even 300-hour.
Still so many hours.
Yeah, but it's just like you've just shaved 700 hours. Like, boom, there it is.
Yeah,
700 hours
right.
shaved. And that was what concerned me, is like, okay, if you want to be an Ironman that wants to do Corp, you now feel this complete obligation to have 2 other accounts help you this entire time on a solo experience account. So I was always complaining about that. I was like, can we not have this be the case? Can we have the Ironman experience actually be a pure Ironman experience where you don't feel obligated to abuse alts on a solo experience? And so finally, Mod Arcane and other devs finally came to the rescue. Big shout out to Mod Arcane for doing this, but he went and across the board tried to fix areas where it just felt absolutely necessary to have alts on an Ironman if you wanted to be somewhat efficient. Again, the argument was like, well, if you don't want to alt, you don't have to. It's like, motherfucker, like, this is just so bad for the game, because it's just, you're at a severe disadvantage on a game mode that you wanted to have a solo experience. Yeah. Like, you literally, like, you sign up for Ironman. I want to do this. Like, if the reason was, which the reason was for me, was I don't want to use alts. I want to have a single player experience. And now all of a sudden you get to this end game point. You're like, oh, you don't have 2 alts that are pimped out. Like, well, now you're going to lose 700 hours. Like, what the fuck?
No, I hate that too. There's still stuff like that I
like the
absolutely hate whenever. Well, not even the group iron stuff, but like, the scaled chambers for like the iron drop chance and stuff like that. And
well, now it's different because you can scale it yourself.
Yeah.
But before, whenever you like pay someone to bring a bunch of people, so you can like increase the draw.
It's like, oh, I'll pay you 100 mil on my main to scale it for my iron so that he has like a 1 in 5 chance of getting a purple. And it's like, all right, dude, just play the regular game. Like, why are you even playing an Iron Man? I hate that stuff.
I think like sometimes when people introduce metas, it's just, I like don't want to see it, because I'm like, now I'm just gonna feel shitty if I'm not doing whatever you're doing, and like I don't want to do that. It sounds annoying.
And a lot of the time, like like with Corp, for example, like, it's just, I want to ignore the fact that people are zooming past pieces of content, but it's really hard. Like, it just sucks playing a game where you know that everybody, like, if you're gonna play with alts on a single player game mode, you have this crazy advantage over everybody, because believe it or not, people do play this game with an element of competition. It's fun to share your achievements. It's fun to flex. It's fun to feel like you have a competitive edge occasionally with some things if you're good enough. But so it sucks when you want to play single player and then you don't have any sort of competitive edge because you are playing the traditional way. And so I was glad that they got rid of all that. And I don't know. I just think it's important to recognize, like, and the same thing, like, you kind of brought up the scaling of like chambers.
Yeah.
The mega scaling has been an issue for years at this point, where it's not that big of a deal. And whenever I mention it, people are like, dude, who fucking cares? Like, like, why are you getting your pants all tied up?
We're criticizing because we love it. We love the game.
And I criticize it because it's weird when you actually look at what's happening fundamentally. Like, you're actually funneling points from one account to another account, basically. That's basically what you're doing. Like, an account that didn't deserve the points now just got transferred points over. Like, that is my problem with it.
How do you feel about the GIMs that will have someone join the group just to give them a drop in the bank and then they'll leave the group? Do you know what I mean?
Is that like the unofficial group where it's like there's like a black market of like T-bows and shit that go for like 10 bill?
I know someone who did that, and they got the I think that they got both of that way. Like, someone joined they paid someone like on their main to give them a drop in their GIM, and then that person just joined the group and left the group, like, just to give them a drop.
Yeah,
that's just a regular account.
No, I honestly, unofficial group. To be fair, let me be very clear on this. Like, I was low-key judging group Ironman before I ever made one. Just even normal group Ironman or hardcore group Ironman. Like, you guys are just trolling. You guys are clowns for doing this game mode. Now, to be honest, a lot of it was just me fucking around. I didn't actually care that much. But unofficial group, to this day, even after playing a hardcore group and recognizing how much fun group Ironman is, I still laugh at the people that are unofficial. I just feel like that's such a clown game mode. But you know what? Let people enjoy what they want. And if you want to be a green helm, I don't even know what all the restrictions are, to be honest. I don't know much about green helm.
I feel like there's none. Like I kind of feel like there's none.
It's just like random hurdles you have to overcome to like to fucking trade an item over, like what you said. Like, okay, join my group for 2 seconds, transfer over to this, and leave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like you have your fun, but I will judge you.
It's like having a main, but with extra steps.
Yeah. It makes sense why they added it though. Like they kind of had to. If you're a group Ironman and you're sick of your team and you just want to join another team, it's cool that they actually added that option.
But people definitely take advantage of it. The little weird GIM black market.
Yeah.
But like,
it's interesting. It's cool, I think.
It's just like, I guess if you want to play Ironman but not like fully commit, which is fine. It's weird to me, but I guess that's how some people want to play, and that's just their business. But I'm still gonna judge a little bit. It's fine.
What are your guys' thoughts on, what was it, Mithril Man Mode?
Wait, what is Mithril Man Mode?
So Mithril Man Mode in a nutshell is you spawn in, you're blue, just like a mithril colored helm, and basically so you can't use the Grand Exchange, and you can only trade other mithril men. So you're like a big fat you're like a big group Iron Man, kind of. Like you're an Iron Man, you can boss with only mithril men. So you can boss together. You do God Wars with other mithril men, and you can get drops and stuff. So that is kind of your normal count. But you can only trade other mithril men. So one of the cool things I think about with this game mode would be like you spawn in, and no mithril man has a whip, and there's no way to get a whip until the first mithril man hits that Slayer level. So you have this like separate economy going that, and you'd have these little meetups. Like you'd use some forum or some RuneLite forum that would eventually come out where people are selling stuff, or you would just meet at like Falador Park, like the good old days, and the mithril men would meet up there and be like selling Barrows items and shit. So you'd get like that classic feel. Yeah, like you'd get the classic feel of no Grand Exchange, and you'd also get this element of kind of Iron Man-ish, but you can also trade, but only with your little subsection of mithril men. Like I just think it would be so cool.
I think it'd be so cute, and it sounds fun. The thing is, it's just like, people would take advantage of it and just have a billion alts to just sell stuff like before anyone else could get it. It sucks that like sometimes you can't really get too excited for stuff like that, because it's just like, someone would ruin it for you. But if everyone was like wholesome about it, I think that'd be like so fun, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool idea.
I love just saying mithril men. It sounds fun.
Honestly, I like it. I like it a lot. I've always been a fan of like the Bronze Man.
Yeah, you were talking about making that too.
Yeah, I always thought that was really cool. So I think this is cool, but yeah, it is unfortunate whenever there is. It would just be the same thing. It's like, how do you want to play the game? Because it's like, you could just buy, everything from someone that did it a million years ago on their Mithril Man account or whatever.
Mithril Man.
But it's like, I don't know. At the end of the day, it's really just putting limitations on yourself.
Yeah.
But
there's something I like about official limitations, though. When it's unofficial, it's just, there's a part of me that just doesn't care as much, and I realize, I could just cheese it if I wanted to, if I just got too lazy. But so I like that officialness of like, you cannot stray from this.
I wish Bronze Man had an official thing.
Yeah.
Is there a plugin for it?
It has a plugin.
I feel like you could just fuck it up on accident.
Yeah.
Like all the time. You're like, I'm pretty sure I've got this.
No, there's a plugin. Yeah, there's a plugin that'll keep track of which items have dropped for you before. But I think it being official, like you said, it's not like a competitive thing, but it is kind of like a competitive thing. Like it's like pseudo competitive in that like being able to track it is like just so much cooler than not being able to track something.
It holds you accountable more, so you don't like, you can't cheese it really. You can't just like go and cheat. Like you physically are not allowed to. They should do more accounts like that.
There's a lot of players that are against that stuff though. They think, and I agree with them to some extent. They just think there's so many game modes already. It just, everything is so diluted now, and so adding more and more and more official modes just seems stupid. Like, why are we doing this? Why are we continually adding more modes? Like, can we stop? So I agree with that, and I do have some sympathy to just like maybe stop doing that. But there is that part of me that I think even if it was just once a year or even every
Mm-hmm.
once every 2 years, they came out with one official new mode. I think
Yeah.
that would be really, really fun, and I don't think that would be like overdoing it. Really, like even something as simple as like an official chunk man, where
Yeah.
you
Like you
have
physically can't leave
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, you physically can't leave, and you have you can spawn somewhere else. So you have maybe like 4 different locations you could spawn in as a
Wow.
chunk man,
Yeah.
and you are actually just completely held captive until you complete the chunk, and you could have it be on easy, hard, or extreme or something, and just like you can be the extreme chunk man, and your helmet would have fucking flames on it, your little next to your name or something. I don't know what it would be, but like an official mode of that. Once every 2 years, they come out with something else that's fun, and I personally would not have a problem with that. I think that would be so cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I get people's criticisms that they're being too much, but I also don't really understand. Well, it's just like how I feel about everything, which I feel like I have a hard time being critical. But I'm just like, it doesn't affect me. I don't care. It doesn't really affect the main game, so I don't really know why I'd mind.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it is kind of weird with like the chunk accounts, like stuck in one area that you don't actually start there. Like, you have to go and like, if you're in like Mauritania, you have to like go and do quests and stuff. So it's
Yeah.
never like
It's never
really
pure.
start.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it'd be
Yeah.
kind of cool to have like you spawn in that area and you're already there.
What we should do is just to spite them, we should remove unranked GIMs and then replace it with like
Honestly.
bronze man or something,
Honestly,
and then
yes.
have that rotate out like every year, like you said.
Just change it.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like no, there's no increase in the amount of game modes because we removed the unranked, so it's fine.
Yeah, no, I mean that then it would go against, like, I know you're kind of trolling in a way, but like
Yeah, just a little bit.
I'm just thinking, like, for me, and this is something that people like, they came out with fresh start worlds, and there's always leagues that come out.
I'll go fresh
But
start.
for me, it's like I need something that is permanent. Like I need something that is not going to get deleted after 3 months or a year or something.
Yeah.
That's my personal preference, though.
Do you play leagues or you don't like it? 'Cause it's, like,
I tried leagues 3, so I just completely didn't try leagues 1 or 2, and then everyone was like, leagues 2 was incredible, and I was like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna try
Yeah.
leagues
Is that
3.
Trailblazer?
Yeah, that was
we
the
didn't
original.
play leagues 1 or 2 either.
I played for like a day and I was like, I don't get it, and I stopped playing.
I tried out leagues 3, which was arguably the worst one. People were saying it was just like, it was way too much freedom. Like, there was no locks. It was just
Yeah.
just kind of doing whatever. I got so overwhelmed, and I honestly burnt out over just how obligated I felt to be permanently logged in, because there's just too many AFK things that are just
Yes.
full AFK. I mean, like something where you can just be logged in for 6 hours and just gaining resources doing nothing.
I feel like I never left Catherby, and I like loved it for a week, and then I was like, I kind of just missed my main account. What am I even doing here?
Yeah,
There's too much options.
that sort of happened. I burnt out after 3 days on League Star. I was playing like 14 hours a day. I was like, I want to enjoy this. I want to be addicted to this.
Forcing yourself to have fun.
Yeah. And I tried to, and then I just realized, like, this is not for me. And then I tried out Leagues 4 for like
Yes.
2 hours, and I burnt out. I was like, I just can't. It's ADHD man mode to me. It's honestly, you log in, here's a list of 3,000 chores to do, and
I
every chore
love
takes
it.
5 fucking seconds. So just run around like an ant, and I'm just like, I can't do this right now.
That's my favorite. My favorite thing about leagues. It's the same with like quest and achievement diary, and now combat achievements and collection. Like, I fucking love checking stuff off a list. Like, ugh, I have like an in real life planner, and I'll just like add everything to it. I could be like done, done, done. It feels so satisfying to me. That's like the thing I'm most excited for leagues. Is just like the first like hour, just going to be like, how much points can I possibly get in an hour just in Lumbridge? I think it's so fun. But I also
wish
have
I was like
undiagnosed
that.
ADHD, so it makes sense that I like that.
Yeah, maybe to be fair, I think I may. This is my older brother has ADHD. I'm pretty sure he got diagnosed with it a few years ago. I'm pretty sure he was like diagnosed with it as a kid. He just never really got medicated for it. But
Yeah.
and then my sister and my brother-in-law and my niece, I'm pretty sure all have ADHD. My brother-in-law for sure
really?
does, and my sister is gonna get checked. And I'm like, almost the weirdest thing is like, I've never actually felt like the symptoms of ADHD until, and I think the reason is because I always thought you had to be like hyperactive. I thought you had to be like crazy, but apparently you can have ADHD and not be hyperactive. and
Yeah.
it affects your attention, it affects your motivation, it affects everything. And I'm like, genuinely, like, maybe need to see a psychiatrist and just like
Yeah, it's
figure out if
the same for
potentially
me.
I have it. Yeah.
I never thought I had it until like 2 years ago, and then, or no,
Crazy.
not even 2 years ago. It was literally this year when I had Glued on the podcast. She was like, "Oh, it's nice. It's funny talking because we both have ADHD." And I was like, "Wait, no, I don't." And then Googled it, and I was like, "Oh my God, I think I might." And my psychiatrist said I had like, it was like 16 out of 18 indicators of it, and I was like, "Oh, okay," because I thought the same thing. It was like hyperactive, but mine just like having trouble focusing and with my memory and stuff like that. It's weird.
And here's the really weird thing. Who knows how much of a placebo it is? But when my
Uh-huh.
brother my brother-in-law got diagnosed, he like I tried a couple of he had like a 5 milligram Adderall pills, and so like I tried them, and I don't know if it was just placebo because it was very minimal, but my day truly went way better. Like it actually, I
Really?
was so focused, I was so like engaged.
Oh.
The chores were easier. It was great. It was just I was like, okay, this could be placebo. It could be me. I took it and I want to have a good day now, and maybe that was just it. And placebo effect's huge. It really is a huge effect, but there is
What's
a
wrong
part
with
of me now
placebo
that's like,
effect every once in a while?
yeah, I may have ADHD, but I would need to get diagnosed, and
Yeah. I think Robert does as well.
I for sure
Yeah,
have
I've
anxiety though,
probably.
like bad
Oh
anxiety,
yeah.
and I think
I
that's from ADHD potentially.
Oh, yeah, because they do kind of go hand in hand. I used to have really bad anxiety. I was actually agoraphobic in high school. Like,
What's
I
that?
don't know if you know, it's when you're afraid to leave your house, which is
That's a
insane
fear. Okay,
now.
because that's pretty much. I'm not actually afraid to leave my house. I just have so much like social anxiety where like
Yeah.
I think everyone's like judging me for everything. It's
I
fucked
feel
up.
that at work sometimes. Like I used to, I mean, I would still have it while like streaming, but not as much. And now that I'm at work, like I'll just be typing and I'm like the annoying coworker who's always typing in Teams in like a group chat. And I'll just like type and no one replies for 10 minutes. And I'm like, they all fucking hate me. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah, and then you're just like in your head about it. You're like,
Yeah.
man.
And then I'll tell them too, because like also an ADHD thing, I guess, is like oversharing too. And like I'll just tell them, be like, "Oh yeah, I thought you hated me, haha." And then they're probably like, "Why are you telling me this?"
God damn it.
It's fun. We have fun.
No, I see another thing I didn't know about ADHD is overshare. I have probably, if you've listened to, I'm not claiming you guys have listened to every single one of my podcasts. There are a few crazy people that have listened to every single one of my podcasts, like every single episode, which is nuts because it's
Hell
like
yeah.
600 hours worth. But
Holy moly.
I'm pretty sure I've overshared like every little detail of my life on my podcast. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
have a very bad problem with trauma dumping and oversharing.
Me too.
So
So I love that.
yeah, it's great. No, it's great when you have somebody that feels similar because then you can actually just like trauma dump with no judgment. You're like, all right, yeah,
Yeah.
here you go, piling it on.
I love that.
Yeah. Now I'm just prepared for you to be like, yeah, so my brother-in-law was just talking about and like launching into a full story about your whole family.
I would do that.
No, yeah, that's
Yeah.
absolutely
I
what I
definitely do that on
expect.
stream. Whoops.
No,
But yeah.
it's weird though because like as an adult, um, I don't know. It's weird because I feel like my personality has always kind of been pretty stable throughout childhood
Mhm.
into adulthood. But I see myself when I think back to like when I was like 21 and then now, I'm like, wow, I really have changed like personality wise, even like
Oh yeah.
in weird ways, not just maturity level, but like, I don't know, just, and I think a lot of it comes down to social anxiety and stuff like the fact that I don't get out as much as like I used to. Like when I was
Mhm.
in college, it was just like I'm literally out every day, hanging out with people all the time.
Yeah, it's kind of
And
like exposure therapy. You just have to
yeah,
keep doing it to get used to it, which exposure therapy fucking sucks, even though
it
it works.
does.
My
I know.
God, it's exhausting.
The,
Especially like the agoraphobia was really, I was like on homeschool in high school because I was like, "Ugh, should I just trauma dump? Should I just do it?"
just do it.
I
It's a
when
Sae
I
Bae
was thir
cast.
when I was 13, I say it all the time on stream, so everyone already knows.
Yeah.
I shit my pants, and I was so afraid every day that I would shit my pants again. So I was
Oh
agoraphobic
no.
for that reason.
Oh
It's so weird
no.
that that was my trauma. I didn't recognize that as trauma until, like 2 years ago. A therapist told me, and I'm like, that sounds so goofy. Like, who has that?
So
But I will do it.
you like actually reached the deep core of where that trauma stemmed from, and that was it. Is that what you're?
Oh yeah, because I thought I was the only person that ever happened to in the world, and I didn't
Mhm.
tell anyone for like 3 years. And then I started telling people. Now I talk about it all the time because talking about it makes me feel better.
Yeah, yeah,
And it
yeah.
turns out a lot of people I know have shit their pants, weirdly enough. So that's comforting. But like, I would be afraid to leave my house. Like, I would go on like a walk around the neighborhood. I'm like, I don't want to go too far in case my stomach hurts.
Oh no.
It was weird. Going vegan has helped though, because I was very lactose intolerant. Like that did
Yeah.
not help.
That's cool. My brother-in-law and sister are full vegan, including my niece.
Oh, nice.
I
Oh,
feel like
cute.
there will be a point in my life where I eventually go vegan because not only ethically does it make sense, but it
Yeah.
also it's just like it's pure laziness on my part. It's just to not only pure laziness, but it's also selfishness. Like I do love meat. Like I love eating meat. Like it's
Oh, yeah,
delicious.
we just have fake meat all the time, to be honest. I'm
Fake
not a
meat
health
actually
vegan.
fake meat actually tastes pretty good sometimes. Like those Beyond burgers, like my sister
Yes.
like the barbecue. I'm like, dude, this actually just tastes like meat. Like this is great.
Yeah.
So, but no, I think the like your gut health is such a big indicator of like your actual normal health because like yeah, I was diagnosed with IBS like when I was 20 or
Oh,
something, and it's always fucked with me and like.
so you could probably relate to feeling like scared you're gonna have a stomach ache.
Oh yeah, no. When I used to work, so I was working 12-hour shifts at a Target distribution center when I was
12
like
hours?
yeah,
Nice.
12-hour shifts over the weekend. And the thing is, it was an hour commute there and then an hour commute
Shut
back.
the fuck up,
Shoot.
And it
bro.
was
You
it
might as well
was
just sleep there.
yeah,
Just
no,
live there.
it was so bad because it was only three days a week, 3 12s.
Yeah.
It was Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And I'd drive to work. I'd have to wake up at 3:30 p.m. and start my
God.
drive by like 4:15ish, so I could get there, so I could clock in by 5:30. And so
That's
I'd be
awful.
there at 5:30 p.m. until 6 in the morning. That's when I clocked out because I had like a
Ew.
30-minute lunch. 30-minute lunch is fucking like 1 a.m. when I'm eating, and then I'd drive home and I'd get back at like 7:30 a.m. and the whole time my stomach is fucked. And I have to
Oh.
take multiple like bathroom breaks, and my managers like they never actually
Oh.
like called me out, but I could just tell I was being judged for like
I
having to
hate
go to the
that.
bathroom again. And I'm like, dude, I fucking hate working long shifts where it's just like my stomach is just in knots because I have
Yeah.
fucking
You probably get
IBS.
anxiety too about it
Oh, it
too.
was
'Cause it's like now these
horrible.
people are watching me and judging me, and it's making it worse.
It's so horrible, and I didn't even recognize it at the time because I just thought like everybody. Well, I didn't. I knew I was smart enough to understand that not everyone is dealing with this, but I just thought
Yeah.
like this is my life. Like this is how
Mhm.
I just have to suffer with this. This is just the bullshit I have to deal
Oh
with,
no.
and so working always sucked because it always felt like I need a bathroom nearby, just in case. Like
Yeah.
I need.
That's how I am too, for different reasons though, just anxiety. I'm like, there has to be one, otherwise like I don't want to go.
Yeah, that fucking sucks.
It's funny because I'm like the exact opposite of both of you guys. Like, I feel like I've eaten some of the most like gnarly stuff and just been fine. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, I mean, I definitely eat gnarly shit. I'll say that. Like, I definitely that's the one thing that I honestly this next year once I go see an actual doctor for the first time in so long.
Cute.
I really need to see like an allergist to like make sure I don't have any genuine food allergies or something, or just any allergies in general, because I feel like allergies like really inflame me. So like I need to get all that figured out. I need to figure out like a genuinely good diet that I can follow. Because nowadays, when you're a
Yeah.
kid, at least for me, I never wanted foods to be excluded from my diet. Like fuck that. Like I want to eat whatever I want to eat. But nowadays, I'm like, dude, I've gotten to the point where like, dude, just tell me what I can't eat and I'll avoid it. Like, please.
Yeah, yeah. That's well. You're preloading your New Year's resolutions. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
easy.
yeah. Honestly. Um, can I ask how
Oh.
old you guys are?
Yeah, and I just turned 30
I forgot you're 30.
a couple months ago.
Okay.
I'm 28. How old are you?
I'm 29. I'm turning 30 in June.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, welcome.
Wait, I have a random question that you can cut out if you want.
Okay, I won't,
Ooh,
but
I
ask it. Yeah.
This is a vibe I've gotten from a single picture I've seen of you. I don't know. Were you Mormon before?
Yes.
The vibe. Do you know what picture I'm talking about? Like people have made memes out of it. I
Was it
think
the
I've seen.
one where where there's like a Hispanic guy like holding a rifle behind me?
Yep. Yeah, that's it. I'm like, this is giving some Mormon fucking energy in this picture.
I've never seen it. This is hilarious.
Okay,
I'll show you later.
I'll show you it
Listen.
actually right now. I could probably find it.
I wonder
shit.
because there's so much ex-Mormon. I mean, are you still Mormon?
No, I've left. Like I've officially got my records removed and everything.
Wow. I
Excommunicado.
feel like there's so many ex-Mormons who play RuneScape. There's like at least 3 people in my chat, and then like Molly Music and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what baits you all to RuneScape, but like you're drawn here. Look at the picture.
No way. That's a real picture. That is crazy.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
And then it actually goes. It was honestly, it was just like candid. It was pretty candid. Like we looked at the camera, like when they
Why
said,
is this like an album cover?
Dude, that is so bizarre. Just a dude with an air rifle hanging out, man.
I know.
Yeah,
That guy was cool as fuck too. His name was Franco.
Oh, did you convert him to Mormonism?
No, he was. So at the time, it's so funny looking back now. His wife was actually, it wasn't even his wife. It was like his girlfriend he had been living with for like a decade. Was kind of Mormon, and so
Okay.
he was basically getting lessons for like a decade. Like he didn't actually take it seriously because he just understood it was bullshit. But like,
Yeah.
he still liked hanging out with the missionaries, and he still liked feeding us and stuff. Like we could go over to his place anytime we wanted, and he would just make us like the most amazing feast.
Damn,
That
what a
is so
G.
cool.
Yes,
What?
absolute G. And we were at this like little meat market getting groceries for the week, and he was there, and he just straight up handed my companion and I $100 bill. He's like, here you go, like on me, guys. I'm like, because you're so poor as a missionary, you just get like this little stipend that's like
Yeah.
$130 a month or something, and so you're just dirt
Jesus.
poor the whole time. Yeah.
Are they just expecting random people to feed you? I know that's a thing, right? People like make you dinner.
Yeah,
am I
yeah.
just,
There,
like,
there was
bored?
certain
I think
there was certain areas where I just get like fucking fat because, well, not like really
Really?
fat, but like we'd be in a biking area, so at least like a lot of the calories are just going to our cardio every single day. But like,
Yeah.
we would get fed. I swear to God, like 5 times a night, sometimes like just on
Oh my
repeat. It's crazy.
gosh. That is so funny. Did you ever go on any missionaries like overseas?
So my mission was in Houston, Texas, and I went to Mexico City for 6 weeks to learn Spanish. I didn't learn Spanish obviously in 6 weeks, but over the 2 years, because I spent like the rest of the 2 years in Houston, and my like assignment was Spanish speaking. So like I would
Oh,
like we would
cool.
like, we'd have like Spanish church and stuff, and yeah.
Can you speak Spanish?
I mean, it's been like almost a decade since I've returned, and I have not spoken a lick of it since I returned. So I could get by kind of, but it would be a struggle for me to like really start communicating. I would have to like get back into the flow with it for a few months, and then it would probably start coming back a little bit. But no, it's shit right now. I can actually read Spanish probably better than I can like
Reading
speak
is
it
always
or listen to it. Yeah.
Wait, what state do you live in?
Oregon.
Oh, okay. I was like, you saw that you were on the West Coast. We're in Southern California, so I was like, I should learn how to speak Spanish, to be honest. It'd be very handy.
I don't know why I always thought you were East Coast.
Yeah, no. Well, I used to, when I was first streaming, I was in Alabama.
Oh,
Alabama?
okay.
Yeah.
I've never. Did you like it?
I loved the rent.
Yeah.
I was
They're like, all right, here's a palace. It's $100 a month. Cause
literally. I mean, we were living. I was living with my older brother, and then my younger brother came a couple times because like he would go to school and then he'd want to work, and so he'd just like fly out and hang out with us for a few months or whatever. One time it was for like a year, but I was in Alabama for like 4 years, and when both of my brothers were there, we were sharing a 3-bedroom, 2-story little condo thing, and it was $1,000 a month.
Shut the fuck up.
And this was like, I want to say it was like 1,300 or 1,400 square feet. It was a pretty big fucking apartment thing. I guess it was still an apartment. It just almost looked like a condo kind of, but
Yeah.
it was, yeah. So we were literally paying like all my monthly bills didn't even equal up to $400 every month.
Holy.
Like everything.
that's pretty good.
It was crazy. And then I fucking moved to Oregon, and it just like quadrupled, like at least. Like, it's stupid. Like, but the thing is, I needed to live on my own. Like, I needed to there's elements of being with them that I just didn't enjoy anymore.
Yeah, living in family can be exhausting.
Being alone is pretty S tier as far as living goes.
It's great. There's a lot of pros. There's a few cons, but the pros outweigh them.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Right, because we have like people in our chat who will like tell us how cheap their states are and be like, "Oh, I live in like a 5-bedroom house and it's like $2,000 a month," but they just like live in the middle of fucking nowhere. And I'm like, I would rather pay a fuck ton of money on rent and like have stuff close by. Like I can't live in the middle of nowhere. That just sounds not fun to me. I love living near our rent. I mean, I'm an overshare, like I said, I don't care. Our rent is gonna go up, I think, in January to be $2,200 a month for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 800 square feet.
That is so fucked.
It's considered a good deal in our area. We don't have a washing machine in our apartment, but it's like I would still rather pay this than like move back to like my hometown in Northern California where it's cheap.
No, I mean so like my rent here is $1,550. It's a 1-bedroom. It's considered a 1-bedroom, but the bedroom doesn't even have a door to it, so it almost feels like a studio.
Oh, technically a studio.
It's like 650 square feet, so it's big enough to be considered a 1-bedroom kind of.
That's
but
nice.
It is a nice little apartment, and it's honestly in like the most perfect area where there's like a bike path literally feet away from me, and it's right on the river. And it's fucking beautiful, but like still, it's just one of those things where, man, I think about how much money I could be saving every single month.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like over $1,000 just pocketed if I just lived with a roommate somewhere in the Midwest.
Yeah. No,
it's not enough for me though to move.
It's so funny when people are like, "Oh, it's so expensive here," like, wherever they're going or wherever they live, like in Europe or something. They're like, "Oh, it's so expensive in Finland or whatever." And I'm all like,
"Oh, Amsterdam's so expensive." And I'm like, "It's cheaper than where we live right now."
I have to tell them, like, we live in like one of the top 5 most expensive counties in the entire nation. Like everything else is less.
You can't tell me shit.
Yeah, no, California is fucking expensive. Southern California especially, yeah.
I do love it though.
Yeah.
We want to move like overseas eventually, but until then, like I'd consider like Washington or maybe even Oregon, but I'd rather just like stay here until we can move overseas someday.
Yeah, rather than do like a secondary move briefly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hello. I was like, do we say anything? I don't know. Just wait.
I'll edit out the break.
Okay, cool.
No, leave it in.
Moment of silence.
I used to leave the breaks in, actually. It was bad.
Wait, I remember you saying that. That is so fucking funny. Just silent.
No, like the first like 20 episodes, I'd want to say. I was so lazy. I don't even think I had editing software at the time. It was just like straight up whatever I recorded on OBS, just instantly upload. And so
I hate that.
I hope you guys know the Spotify skip button because I don't.
Okay, to be fair, when I added all the podcasts to Spotify, I got rid of all the bathroom breaks in the Spotify audio recordings. But on YouTube, they're still unedited. So like the first 20 episodes, like you can go in. I think there's one episode of like a whale or something, and it's like 3.5 hours. There's like 2 piss breaks that are like 4 or 5 minutes, pure silence. And on top of that, it's like the awkwardness of like somebody comes back like, "Hey, I'm back." And then like, you don't hear fucking anything for 2 minutes, and the other guy gets back and you hear a door shut or something. Like, "Hey, like, are you ready to record again?" Like, "Yep, all right."
I hate that. Oh my god.
Oh my god. And the thing is, nobody, like, I just fucking was kicking myself over how stupid and lazy I was to do that. But nobody had a problem with it. Like, literally, those early episodes, I mean, I guess it was more of a cult like following at that point. I guess it still is technically, but
yeah,
it's like the few people that listened to the cast at that point, like they were all about it. Like just like 100% upvote,
their favorite
dislike.
part of the episode, the 5 minutes.
And nobody's saying anything like, "Dude, what the fuck's wrong with you? Why would you keep that in?" It's just like, no, everybody was just positive and uplifting. It was great. So.
That's so funny. That's what people were about like our first episode. Like no one has ever said anything bad about it, and it's so
terrible.
Fucking bad. You could hear us echoing the entire time because we tried to do 2 mics, and I'll like tell people like don't listen to it. It's really bad.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear it.
Like you said, like some people have listened to like all your episodes. Some people are like, "Oh, I loved like listening to your newest one, so I went back and started at the beginning." I'm like, "Why would you do that?"
Don't do that.
It is so much worse.
It's a really bad time.
No one else. Yeah, go.
I was just saying, like, because like our cast, like we talk about like the updates and stuff.
Yeah, they're not even
So
love. I mean, it kind of is cool listening back because we talk about our personal stuff too. And like, dude,
yeah.
at the beginning of the podcast, I was like, I'm so fucking scared to do Jad, like blah blah blah.
Cute
Yeah,
names.
it's cool like seeing the progression like that, but like they're not interviews, so it's all
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
half of it is gonna be us talking about what they were doing when they introduced like Guardians of the Rift like years
Yep.
ago or
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah, but people like that, I guess. Some people are like, yeah, I love listening to like all of them when I'm at work, and I'm like, you're just listening to stuff that's been out for 5 years.
You have to keep in mind that like this is the thing because I have imposter syndrome big time.
Yeah.
And I just think like, who the fuck would want to listen to any of this? Like, I understand if there's like a cool guest, like Maud Ash is on it, like great, like you know that
Yeah.
he's carrying it. But like, I'm in every goddamn episode. Like, aren't you guys sick and tired of my ass? Like, geez. But I think back to like I used to listen to the old Hexus podcast, just like this. That was like the Skilling clan back in like 2014,
Oh, cool.
2015. And like that's actually kind of what I grew up on with old. Not grew up on. I was already an adult, but like when I started old school in 2015, that's what I discovered first. Like the first streamer I even watched on Twitch that was old school based was Randalicious, and he was like rank 2 at the time.
Oh my
And
gosh.
and so, you know, it just happened to be that I just found that so first of all so nerdy, but I just found I was so intrigued by how fucking passionate somebody could be toward a video game because this is like right after my Mormon mission. So
Oh yeah.
I just spent like 2 goddamn years like no video games, no anything, no just preaching about Joseph Smith basically. And so I come back and like just the whole it's just a weird it's a different world to me. And so I just instantly got captivated by just people going crazy on a video game. It's just like what the fuck. And then I started listening to the Hex's podcast. I think it was like promoted on his stream. And it's just like 6 nerds, like giga nerd, like the nerdiest motherfuckers talking about RuneScape for hours. And I was
I
like,
love that.
I love this like so much. And everything, none of it has any like
It's not relevant anymore.
it's not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
It's just there's no relevancy at this point anymore. But you listen to it and you can almost like feel their their shoes a little bit. Like, oh, that's
Yeah.
what old school was like. Holy fuck, like that's crazy.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's so
So
cute.
you gotta recognize your own stuff as like a time capsule now. So I think that's
Yeah.
good to recognize.
I feel like that's like kind of a cool vibe. Like whenever like I've been playing games since like forever, but I didn't actually get into like PC games until like 2008. I was like 12 or 13 or whatever, but like immediately like I joined a clan and that gives me like the vibes of just like sitting in like VC with just like
All
the
your
boys.
40-year-old friends.
Yeah, like whatever 10 people were on at the time just like talking about whatever random shit. So that's like kind of a cool vibe.
Yeah. That's cute.
Yeah. Now there was and the thing is like you guys know Sick Nerd, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Like so he was a general in Hexus back then.
Oh.
Because he was rank 1 in the entire game.
Wait, really?
Yes. Like he was
Oh.
that nerd. He was better than Link's Titan. Like he was
sickly.
yeah, he was very yeah. No, but he was he was in those calls in the early Hexus podcast and it's just fucking hilarious because it's Sick Nerd before he like became a big famous streamer. And
Oh, that's so cool.
he
It is
still
like a time capsule.
he still kind of acts the same, like he still has like the same like sort of personality, but it's more like it's a little bit more like sheltered sort of like he's not quite as outspoken, but it's just it's gold, is pure gold going back to those old ones. Oh my god, it's great.
That's so cool. I guess that's what people see in our old ones. But like some people just don't like Robert's monotoneness.
Yeah.
We
I
don't
love
have a
it.
lot of-
It's soothing to me. Anybody that's like Montana has a deep enough voice, I just think it's calming.
Yeah, I think I don't know if this is just like a conspiracy. I think it's just like a honestly kind of like a macho male thing. Like they hear a guy with a deep voice and they're just like, he's trying to tell me what to think. And it's like
Oh my god.
to trauma enough. It reminds me of my dad to be like they can't just like stand like another guy like saying stuff. Because like we have a couple comments of people being like, I can't stand Robert's like ego and he gets something wrong like every episode. I'm like, bro, we're not the Wikipedia. Like we're just saying shit. I don't know if what half of what I'm saying even makes sense. I'm just talking.
Isn't that the worst though? You get like a couple people that are hypercritical about what you're
Yeah.
doing, and it's just like, dude, like One is you don't need to listen to this. You don't need to watch this if it's not
You
floating
don't
your
need to write
boat.
a comment because
Yeah.
it's you're so upset with us right
Yeah.
now.
Like I will appreciate it when somebody it always hurts me because I don't want to get negative, constructive criticism. But when I do
Yeah.
know it's coming from a place of like love, where it's like somebody's like, hey, this wasn't your best episode or whatever, like it fucking sucks. I always hate seeing it because and some of the time like you could have done better. And so when
Yeah.
you see it, it's like, oh God, like this hurts so bad. Like I don't you just want to like almost like my natural instinct is to be like, fuck you, man. Like
Right?
but
Mine's
deep
just to cry. And
yeah.
I'm
No,
like,
no,
they hate me.
yeah. Like deep down it's just like okay, they probably got a point and it depends
Yeah.
if it looks like they truly care about your success.
Yeah, I think some people definitely do it in better ways. Like like they do like it's like the criticism sandwich or whatever. Like you say something nice, then you criticize, and you end on a positive note, like, "But I have faith that you can do this," or blah blah blah.
Hmm.
But some people are just like, it doesn't happen often, but some people are just like mean to be mean, and I'm like, this isn't very constructive. I think you're just being kind of mean.
Yeah, and you just got to understand like they're probably just not in a great place at the moment and they're just
Actually,
lashing out
yeah. So I just like
because
don't read comments on stuff usually.
the worst criticisms are when like a viewer or like a listener of yours has like a completely different view of what your podcast should be. It's like they want your
Mhm.
podcast to be a way that you don't even want it to be. And so their construction is something, or their criticisms is something that is literally you do not even want to do because it's not your podcast. And so they're like, you have to do this to make your podcast better. And like, no, I fucking don't. Like, I'm not going to do that. So like,
I've had people do that with my stream, and I think I ended up
mhm.
like banning that person because they're just like backseeing and they're like, "Well, Bodhi does this," and I'm like, "I'm not
Oh my
Bodhi, bro. I'm
God.
just playing the fucking game. Like,
Yeah.
leave me alone."
Yeah.
But yeah, I think people have been like mostly nice about it, but people do that too. I mean, I guess like that one person like kind of like trying. This is a valid criticism if they said it in a nicer way, but trying to point out that like we do get facts wrong and stuff, but.
Hmm.
My feeling is just like we're literally called BuneBape. Like we just rhyme with RuneScape. We're clearly not that serious.
This isn't the Encyclopedia of RuneScape
Yeah, we're
You
podcast.
like,
should honestly
oh, no need
rename,
for
you
names.
rebrand to that.
Honestly, yeah, I just thought of that. That's actually
Encyclopedia of
that's a
RuneScape.
good name.
We literally just the other day, or the other day, like last month or something, we're talking about Guardians of the Rift. And we're talking about it for like 5 minutes, and I even said like, yeah, we actually like know what we're talking about with this because we've done so much Guardians of the Rift. And not 5 minutes later, I realized like, wait, what the fuck is this? And someone like called me out on Spotify, and they're like, we actually know a lot about this. Immediately says something incorrect.
Yeah,
Oh no.
immediately, and it wasn't even like close.
Okay,
It's funny when people are so confidently incorrect about something,
me.
even after saying no, even after saying like I don't know. I get a lot of YouTube commenters that'll like come into like one of my guides and they'll just like genuinely say something that's just completely incorrect. But it's almost as if they're almost hinting as if, oh, I just triple checked this motherfucker. Like this is right.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, like you could be wrong. Everybody's wrong sometimes, but don't be like so confidently wrong. Like, oh my God.
yeah. That is so funny. I love that though. No, I just like I used to not. I try to not say stuff, and I still try not to. But like sometimes I just like I have to call people out and be like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like you're not making any sense." Because I think that a lot of people want you to call them out, like they want attention. So like sometimes people say stuff
They're
wrong, and
baiting
I'll just
it. Yeah.
yeah, they're baiting it. So I'll just like play dumb, and I'm like, "Oh, that's crazy," and just like not say anything else about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know you want me to pay attention, and I refuse to. Sometimes it works though,
There
and
have
I
been
do.
there have been a few moments on my podcast where like somebody's confidently saying just incorrect things about RuneScape. It's nothing deep. It's just simply
Yeah.
like somebody's confidently saying this thing drops this, and it's just completely like incorrect.
We
And
thought
it's
that Anku's dropped the Anku outfit, and we talked about that before. No fact checking. They do not.
yeah, it's like something like that, like something like so just incorrect, but it's fine. It's just RuneScape, so it's not deep at all.
Yeah.
And it's always like most of the time, actually, I would probably say 99% of the time, I will literally call them out. And then I feel like I'm being like a jerk for
Yeah.
like correcting them, especially when they're so confident about it. I'm like,
Aw.
I don't think that's right or something like, I'll kind of be like a little bit nice about it, kind of like hesitant, like, oh, maybe I'm wrong or whatever. But I think it's this.
That's how I am too. Whenever I call people, I'm like, or maybe I'm tripping. I don't know.
Yeah, you always have to. I mean, to be fair, there have been a few times where I've actually been wrong. Like I thought I was right, and I actually wasn't. So now I'm like, oh shit, like maybe I should triple check before I try to correct.
Try to interrupt. Yeah.
But a lot of the times now, I try to be more confident with myself, and I'm like, if somebody's wrong, I can just straight up tell them that. I don't need to be so hesitant of like, I'm going to hurt their feelings if I say this. Like, if I know I'm right, just say it. It's not that deep. It's not like I'm affecting their core beliefs.
Yeah. I'm so afraid of hurting people's feelings. So I'm just like, I will just let you lie to yourself, let me lie to everyone in the chat, and just pretend because I do not want to call you. I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable.
But the worst part is when you start seeing the long-term implications of keeping that around.
They just keep bringing it up, and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, like you got to live this lie now. Like you've sheltered somebody for so long. Like they keep regurgitating this like a lie that you just accept, and you're like, fuck. Like
it's weird if you call them out at that point. They're like, why didn't you tell me this like a year ago?
Exactly.
I didn't want to say anything.
That's why you just gotta like pull them aside on chat. Like it just literally like in your stream, just be like, you know what?
Bud.
I know this is very embarrassing, but for the past year, I just have refused to correct you on this point. And I love you. I recognize now that I actually love you enough to tell you that you're fucking wrong. Because honestly, like, no, like that's like the biggest sign of somebody that actually cares about you is when they actually will tell you the truth when it hurts.
Yeah. People will do that to me, but I'm just like a little baby, and I'm like, "Don't tell me, just let me be ignorant." Like,
yeah.
I feel embarrassed. I'm called up, and then later I'm like, "I do appreciate it, I guess."
Yeah, it depends when it comes from a place of like they're doing it because they have enough empathy to recognize that if they were on the other side, they would value this information.
Yes, it's different if someone's like calling you out to try to embarrass you than just like, that's rude.
You just put yourself in their shoes and just recognize like, okay, how could I best communicate if I were them? Like, how would I want to be communicated on this point if I were them?
Exactly. So. Look at us being so mature. Wow.
It's funny. I do not do that. Like, I'll either call someone out or realize that they're saying it in such a way that like clearly they're invested in whatever the outcome of the conversation is. And I'm usually not. So I'll just be like, all right.
Win because you don't care.
We're like, clearly this means a lot more to you. That's totally fine.
You need this win right now.
I'll grant you this dub for now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Now that there are just moments though where it's just there's a point where this isn't even worth my energy to try to engage with, so I'm just not going to.
Yeah, exactly.
That's honestly tough for me because I kind of like don't care about like a lot of people's opinions. I mean, I don't know, like not in like a rude way. Like I don't care, not trying to be like rebellious, but like, you don't mind them. It does matter to a lot of people more than it matters to me a lot of the time. So like, I try to like not do that too much, but sometimes people will say like entire like rants, and I'll just end it with like, all right, just because it's just easier that way. I don't know.
No, you don't end it with all right. You end it with that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'll be like, that's wild, dude. Nice. Well, you want to play something else? Like,
good night.
Shit. The dishes are barking at me. I gotta go do that.
The dish is barking again.
My computer is exploding currently. That is crazy.
You gotta go and then just stay in VC talking to other people.
Oh my god. Yeah, I always have I have social anxiety for sure, but I remember I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get out of my shell in a nice, comfortable way, which is just I should join more voice calls on Discord.
Oh, I have such a hard time with that.
And then I remember this is years ago, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it in my own Discord. Like I just set up a fucking voice channel, just chill in it, and just have people come in.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you got a couple of your friends in there. There's like 3 of you or something, and then like some guy with and this is not to be disrespectful, but like a guy with like a genuine mental illness comes in, and it's just like all of a sudden the vibes are just okay. Now we got to like babysit, kind of.
People when I join a VC and I just start trauma dumping, they're like, "Oh God, here we go again."
It's just like it's just awkward when you have a person comes in that truly doesn't understand like social cues, and so they are just going off and you're like, I gotta find a way to leave this call, but you want to be respectful because you don't want to be like
Yeah.
a bully, and you don't want to come
Be
across as
rude.
like, oh, like we're gonna shun you because you're not normal, or you're not like, being the way we want you to be. So you want to be polite, but it's just sometimes like, I just can't handle this. Like, this is like just too much, and you have to find a way to escape with being nice. It's horrible.
So I don't like VCing on stream. I get too distracted. I do every once in a while. I either ignore chat or ignore VC. I'm not good at balancing it, but people give me shit for it. But I had one time this person, speaking of like not understanding social cues. I don't know why we were all just doing corp, and he was like talking on VC about how he wished someone would, like a peeping Tom would come and try to look at his wife so he could kill them. And I'm like,
What the
what
fuck?
are you talking about while I am streaming right now?
That's the kind of
I
stuff
don't,
where you're like, you need help. Like, you
yeah,
cannot, like, what are
I
you
felt
saying?
so uncomfortable. And I got like raided, and that's like whenever I'd have like 15 viewers, I got raided by someone with like
Oh my
20. And I'm just
god.
like about to cry on VC. Like, I don't know what to do.
Fucking A. Yeah, no, yeah, no, that is so tough. It's with
Mhm.
that point, like at that point, it's just like, okay, that's unacceptable, and you have to like end the call. It's like, you can't do that.
I'm
But
so bad at that.
the worst part is when it's like a really gray line where it's like they actually haven't
Mhm.
crossed any lines yet, like lines
But
that
it
you
makes you a
would.
little uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's just like they're just making you a little bit uncomfortable, and they keep edging that a little bit where it's like, fuck,
Yeah,
like I hate this right now, but you haven't done anything that would justify me leaving the call or calling you out. It's just awful.
exactly. I feel like I'm not great at boundaries like that. Even stuff that's more explicit, like I don't know if I'm overreacting a lot of the time, especially like if none of my mods are online, Robert's asleep, and
Hmm.
someone says something that makes me uncomfortable. I just keep them in the chat, and then the next day I'll be like, "Hey, Robert, let me show you these messages," and he's like, "What the fuck? Ban them? Like that's really
Yeah,
weird." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like I didn't know. I thought it was bad, but I don't know. I need
that
to
that's a
get better at
good.
just
No, but I think that actually is a good system. It's almost like,
yeah,
it's non. I don't know. It's just like you're doing it off stream. So if somebody was making you feel
yeah.
uncomfortable, like you're not gonna.
They don't see you banning them, and no one else in
Yeah,
chat's gonna be like, "Why'd you ban them?"
yeah. It's just done off stream. That's nice actually, and it's good to like
Yeah.
talk to somebody else about it. That's cool that you have like Rob to just be like, the fuck is
Be like,
this?
this is fucking weird,
Yeah.
right? Like, I'm not being dramatic. And he's like, no, that's weird.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. I'm like not super like ban happy or anything like that,
But
but
you
I'm
do it if people are acting weird.
yeah, I mean,
Easier
I'm
than
kind of
me.
like, I've seen like I don't really watch anyone play RuneScape. Like I don't
He does
I
not like
can't
watching
stand it.
people play RuneScape.
But
Myself included, when I'm streaming, he has the chat and he's playing other games.
yeah, from time to time I'll like pop in and into like Bodhi's stream, and I like the way he does it. He's all like, "Oh, and you're banned." Like he'll just like I
Mm-hmm.
like that he's like
I need that
not
confidence.
super about it, but he'll just like willy-nilly. I mean, obviously he has a ton of viewers, so it means less
Hmm.
probably if I had to guess,
Yeah.
but still it's like yeah, I'm just like, "Oh, if you're not, part of the vibe, that's what this is." And so that's just the end of that.
I know. So Megan Eve, her name used to be Strawberry on. I love saying Strawberry. It's fun. She used to be Strawberry on Twitch. Like we had her on the podcast. She's one of my like closest friends, but she was saying like how she used to not like banning people or blocking people because like they take that as a win. Some people like being banned or blocked to be like, oh, haha, I really fucked with them.
Yeah.
And she like pointed out to me, she's like, if you're protecting your peace of mind, then it doesn't matter if they think that they won. Like
It
you don't
really
have to
doesn't.
think about it. Yeah. And I have a hard time with that because like the pettiness in me, wants to be like, I don't want to give them the satisfaction. But I'd have to think of what she said and be like, if it's fucking with me, like they could think that they won. I know that they didn't actually win.
Hmm.
I need to get better at that for sure.
That was actually one of the episodes I watched. I actually like when I watched you and Megan's
Hmm.
podcast. Like I actually like I didn't understand how like sensitive like Megan was to all of us. Like she's very fucking honest. I was like actually like
I
very
love
surprised.
Megan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and the thing is, it's like it's very relatable because like just
Yeah.
being a streamer in general, you can just instantly relate with any streamers like issues they've dealt with, and so yeah, it was
Yeah.
great.
I
That
think
one.
people just think a lot of people, because they'll like see her like tweeting her jokes and stuff and like being like sassy people. And I'm like, she cares about stuff. And she's like, I don't know. I just love Megan. So just like I'm
Yeah,
hyping her up a
no,
little
she's
bit.
great.
Yeah. But yeah, that was good advice that I need to take because I mean sometimes people will also very much obviously cross the line, but I I think I want to see the best in people. So I'll just be like, maybe it's a misunderstanding. Like maybe they actually didn't mean this in a fucked up way. And then I double check with someone and they're like, no, that was pretty fucked up. I'm like, oh, okay, bummer.
Yeah, the worst is when like somebody brings up something that you're actually uneducated on, but it
Yes,
seems like something that's inappropriate. And so you're
exactly.
almost like, do I even engage in this and ask what the fuck they're talking about?
Mhm.
Or is
I,
this something that's actually inappropriate that I just look clueless about and I shouldn't even bring it up?
I know, I'm just like, I'll just ignore this and check with someone else who's probably more informed later
Yeah.
and be like,
Just
can
like,
you help me?
yeah. Somebody please help.
Somebody who knows what they're
You should,
talking
we
about,
should we
come
should we
come.
should have like a help button on our like
You
stream,
should,
just alert help, like the chat's being weird.
please. They're being
Chat's being
strange.
weird or not. I actually don't know if they're being weird or not. Like fucking help. Yeah.
We need a little judge to come in and tell us, like, is this sus? I genuinely don't know.
Yeah. It's so
Dude, they need
bad.
to do a an extension for like the browser that's like an AI extension where if someone says something in chat, you can like click a little symbol next to it and like AI would pop up and be like, "This is what this is."
That
We
would
need
be
that for the
so
podcast
good.
whenever we get shit wrong.
Yeah, it's like this is what this is. This is what it's referenced to. Like, yeah, this is not a cool thing to be talking about or
Yeah.
something. Just like auto judge.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just people just be saying references to stuff all the time. And I post on Twitter and TikTok and YouTube and all that, but like I try not to actually look at them because I know I'll get sucked in.
Hmm.
So people like post little references to TikTok. I'm like, huh, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like I feel like a boomer. Like I don't know what that
Yeah.
means. So I would appreciate a little AI just telling me like what Skibidi toilet is. Is it Skibbity?
I don't
Skibbity.
know. I've
I'm
never
sorry.
watched it.
Who
Don't
knows?
know.
Who knows? I'm a boomer as well.
Yeah, we're not Zoomers. I don't know this shit.
I know. The thing is like there's always like a part of me like one. So just recently, I've done this in the past as well. I'll go through seasons where like just delete all the social media apps off of my phone. I'm just like, this is genuinely ruining my quality of life. Like
Yes.
checking this because I just become an absolute just like robot. Like I just like instantly, it's like my first reaction to anything is check my phone, check my phone, check my phone. It's like
Yes.
fucking A, dude. And so I've taken a break recently with
Oh,
that, but
nice.
it always feels weird because you kind of want to stay in the know, especially when like it's like, even with just RuneScape topics, like it almost
Yeah.
feels like, oh, I need this. Like it's like an excuse to keep Twitter on my phone. It's like, oh, I want to be in the know in case there's drama or in case there's an update that people are talking
Just
about. But
listen to the BuneBape podcast. Easy.
yeah, exactly. I could just do that. But a lot of the time, it's like you don't need to know everything. You don't need to be you don't need to be in touch with every single pop culture reference. It's okay. It's
Yes.
whatever.
Even like RuneScape drama, I'll see like tweets of people like arguing. I'm like, what's this about? And I'm like about to ask someone, and I'm like, wait, I don't care.
I
Like,
know. It's like
I don't know either of these people. Like, it doesn't matter to me.
some of the time it feels like it might not even be drama, but it feels like something you should know because people will ask
Yeah.
about it on your stream. It's like, oh, God, like I gotta study up on
Yes.
this random thing.
Sometimes whenever people like ask about current drama, my mods will just ban them. I trust my mods, so I'm like, if you think that's gonna lead to annoying paths, fucking go for it. I don't care.
Yeah. A
Just
little
ban whoever.
a little drip of drama here and there is pretty good. It's
Yeah,
tasty, but if you it's like your whole channel becomes surrounded by it, it's too
that's
much.
exhausting. Yeah, I agree.
It's like the all the React content.
I can't stand React content. I'm so sorry. I know
Re-
people like it.
React content is like the greatest career path to follow. Like just
And
fucking start.
unlimited.
Yeah, you don't need to produce any content. You just
It's so weird
feed,
to
you
me.
just use other people's content. It's amazing. And the thing is that genuinely is like the stuff that people want to watch the most.
I don't. I guess I get it. Like you want to see people's impression of it, but like sometimes React content, like maybe it's because they're not as good, but people would just be sitting there, just like watching it and like not really reacting,
Mm.
or like they're just kind of like sitting there. But I like reacting. I think is okay if you have like thoughts that you're actually gonna put into it, not just be like, oh my God, that was crazy. Like if you're gonna actually like video essays, like
Yeah,
if
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like that style, I like that more.
Yeah, I hate it whenever someone does like a reaction to something that is like completely unrelated to things that they like know or understand or interact with. And I'm like, this is the same as just showing this video to like a child and seeing what they think. Because like your opinion is just so invaluable
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
or unvaluable.
No,
I don't know.
invaluable.
It was like really
Yeah, I was all
valuable.
like, maybe not that one.
Like, I care so much about it.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I'm always thinking because like my YouTube channel is very much focused on like conversation. So whether it be
Yeah.
rambles or Sae Bae casts, it's just like me talking, and it's just the most like lazily produced content. It's still like
But
some
it
people
works.
love it, but
Yeah.
it's like I never put too much time into like the production value of anything,
Do you
which
ever get burnt out with like the ramblings in the Sae cast?
I haven't actually rambled. Like I've probably maybe uploaded like 4 rambles in the last like 5 months, maybe, or 4 months, just because the group hardcore took so much of my time and like
Oh yeah.
focus away from it. And I honestly, I didn't want to just make rambles just to make them. I just nothing was really resonating with me to talk about and be
Mhm.
passionate. I hate being like fake passionate about something. Like, oh, I should
Yeah.
probably make a ramble. It's been a couple weeks. Let me just fucking make up something that I'm passionate about.
That's how
Like,
I felt like trying to make videos and stuff because I was going to try and do a video every week. Man,
mhm.
I realized maybe I just like don't like making videos that much. Every once in a while, like I love making my little shorts. I love making like random videos every once in a while, but I just
Mhm.
can't pretend to care about something that I'm really not that invested in.
Yeah,
It's
you
exhausting.
truly have to like. The thing is, the best part about rambles, the best part is that that's
Mhm.
actually what I want to do. Like, I want to
Yeah.
just record for 20 minutes and just speak my mind. That's actually what I
Yeah,
want
that's
to do
Robert
most.
on the
Yeah.
podcast.
It sucks because like that's what I want to do, and I like making YouTube videos. I'm
My
the
little
opposite.
hobby satyr.
No, I'm the opposite of Michelle, where I'm like, oh, whether it's like whatever change is happening or like talking about leagues, like I'm like, oh, it'd be cool to make like a 20-minute video, but then I like psych
You
myself
just do
out,
psych yourself out,
and
yeah.
I'm all like, man, the production video value isn't gonna be even close to like a settled video, so why would I even
For
Yeah,
try?
fun.
it's
It's
so
not serious.
bad.
Just do it for fun.
Yeah, I mean those.
Even shorts that sometimes get like 200 views, and I'm just like, oh, whatever. I had fun making it.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, those guys, their videos are so good.
But
Like,
they have like paid editors and stuff.
well, not even just them, but like I've seen like smaller, creators, and they just have like these really high value videos, or just you can tell they put a lot of effort into it. And I'm like, dang, why would anyone want to watch me talking about like some shit that like they just probably don't like care about my opinion, which is all
Yeah.
it is at the end of the day. So yeah, I always psych
That's
myself
the
out on that.
imposter syndrome, like he was saying
It
earlier.
is. It is.
Yeah. Also, this is like my confession. I've said it a few times. I don't like watching RuneScape videos now that I'm like trying to do content creation because I will always compare myself to the other people's videos.
Mm,
But if someone's even done something vaguely that I want to do, I'm like, well, now I'm copying them. And I'm like, I'd rather just not know. It doesn't work well for the algorithm because I don't know how to like tag stuff or like any of that. But I just like to do my own thing and like be in my own little bubble because otherwise I'll feel too influenced. Like
yeah.
even kind of with like league stuff. Like I will look on Twitter and see a leagues announcement, and I'm like the example is like like they have like have you been reading the leagues leaks?
I've like well, because I'm not playing it, I haven't been
Oh
focused
yeah.
on it too much, but I keep seeing tweets here and there of people talking about it.
Yeah. I'll like see a relic that sounds fun, and then all their replies are like, "Oh, why would anyone choose that relic? Like that relic sucks." And it like really influences me, and I'm like, I wish I didn't see what other people thought sometimes. So I
Yep.
could just like do my own thing, even if it'd be like super inefficient. It's hard to like form your own opinion or ideas for videos when you see what other people are doing sometimes.
It's good though to have a balance. Like you just have to understand. Well, okay, I like bringing up this example. So I don't know if you
Mhm.
guys remember Caveman Only.
I
Um,
don't.
No.
so he was like one of the pioneers of like snowflake accounts. He
Oh,
originally Caveman Only was a Reddit thread thing. He would just post his progress on Reddit, and it gained just a huge amount of popularity. This is years and years ago, but he was just uploading. It's like, hey, I'm an underground Ironman only. I can only do things underground and in basements, and
I
then
love that.
and he progressed really really far. And then he was like, you know what, I'm gonna start streaming and making YouTube videos. And
Yeah.
he would put so much production value, and he told me this, like he put so much production value into his videos, he burnt out. Like he just actually wasn't enjoying it. But because he now just like, here it is, like this is what you can expect now is a super high production quality videos. It's like he started like despising like making videos because he understood he now has this new like benchmark to hit every time or better, and like he just burnt out. He just like didn't do it anymore. And so I think that's a cool thing, or not. It sucks, but it's like it's
I
a
love
it's a
that.
good thing to recognize. Is like if
Yeah.
you're gonna just make something that's super high quality, and you're like, this is the only way, but you're miserable doing it. It's not what you actually want to do. It's like it's not gonna be sustainable.
Yeah. I think that's like the shitty part of content creation that people don't talk about enough is like it'll sometimes turn things that you love into just like regular work and you like don't want to do it. Like I would
Yep.
log in and be like, well, I guess I gotta go to top for 8 hours. And it's like normally that'd be fun, but if you feel obligated, it's not as fun anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird. I don't, because it like whenever I was just streaming full time, obviously like I wasn't making as much money as a normal job, but like I was like, wow, this is like dream job, whatever, gameplay video games. But it's like some days I just want to play video games and not talk to people
I
and have people
know.
not watching me.
And it doesn't feel right. You're like, oh, I'm wasting
Yeah,
time now. And then your one hobby that you just loved and now just feels like a waste of time if you're not doing it to make money.
exactly.
And then the making money stresses you out. So everything's just a stress fest. It's horrible.
Yes. Even sometimes when I'm like not live, I'm like, oh, I can't go to raids if I'm not live. Like, what if I get something and like no one sees it? So like I'll like record myself when I'm not live in case I get a drop. It's weird. But I do still like it. Having it turn into a hobby rather than trying to do it as my job is making me like it a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
It's not high stakes anymore, which is nice.
Yeah, one of
You know?
the I think the YouTubers that I'm like most envious of are like the YouTubers. I guess just the content creators in general, but it's mostly YouTubers that I'm most envious of because if you're somebody like Solo Mission,
Hmm.
it's like you could just post one video a month or less,
Yeah.
realistically. And you're fine. Like you'll just pull like 300, 400,000 views, get a sponsorship
Holy.
that's paying 5x the ad revenue, and
Yeah.
and then Leagues comes around once a year, just one video every single day for 3 weeks, and then just put rank one in your title. It's just like you just got this nice system going where you just have an excessive amount of free time where the
Yeah.
videos you make truly are you sitting down in silence the way you want to game. You're gaming, you're recording a few clips, you make one big video, but you have a huge YouTube audience. So it's just like,
Yes.
boom, you upload. Now, to be fair, that doesn't come with no stress. So I've talked to Solo Mission in person, and he recognizes like there's certain stresses because as soon as your channel is like showing promise and stuff, like the YouTube algorithm recognizes that. And if you make a poor video, like that's going to affect things.
The
So there is a
algorithm,
lot of
whatever.
pressure and to like keep sponsorships
Yeah, like
and stuff.
maintaining it. Yeah.
But yeah, like that is really the dream though, is like really, or somebody like Settled or Jimmy or someone that's
Yeah.
like, they just upload some videos here and there, and then they occasionally stream. And so you stream once every fucking 3 months, a few days, and you got like 3,000 just people popping in with their primers and stuff. It's just like nobody's
Oh,
expecting you to be live the next day, but you can if you want. It's just great. Like that's the
Like
that's
when
the
Luke
relaxed
logs
vibe.
on for like 5 days, beats all the content in the game, and like goes back to
disappears
hibernation.
again.
Yeah, yeah. Did you guys know, or I don't know if you guys remember when Wooks tried to like stream full time?
No,
No.
He
no.
did it for like a couple days or something, like a
A
few
couple
days.
days?
It was like him doing I think it was him like okay, like he has immense success doing his like PVM streams when a new update comes out. He's
Yeah.
like why he probably was just like I'll just test out like full-time streaming. But yeah, you could just tell like he was doing like a thermi task or something for a few hours, like one day on stream. It's just just like nothing's happening really, just him doing a Slayer task, and he still was just having like almost 1,000 viewers or whatever. But
Yeah.
it just I think he started recognizing it a few days in. It's like oh yeah, this is actually the opposite of lucrative right now. Like this is actually going
Yeah.
to kill this is going to like kill the energy of when big updates do land. Like he needs that novelty aspect to his stream, and if he's
Yeah.
alive all the time, it ruins that.
Exactly. Some people it works better for them that they just like pop up every once in a while. So then it feels more special whenever they stream too. It's
Hmm.
like, holy shit, he's live. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the dream though. It's like just the dream of like the freedom of like just being able to really not have to stress too much about stuff and just do everything that's just pure passion. It's just like I want to do this. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be creative, and there's no stress to it.
Yeah, I should just get paid to play RuneScape off stream, not making videos.
Yeah, we should just get universal
Fuck
basic
yeah.
income, so we all just have money and just
Yes,
not do
please.
anything.
Just let me go to Brimhaven and get these tickets.
Yeah.
Gross.
Not gross. You're gross.
God damn. Okay, I want to check out some of these Twitter topics. I've got a few.
Okay.
So, first one, actually from Megan Eve. Will she maintain her rank in Scurious after she gets pet? What rank are you right now?
I'm rank 16.
You're not going to try to keep pushing for rank 1 even after pet?
Bruh, no, rank 1 is over twice as the amount I get, and they are still grinding it.
Rank 1 is like 30,000.
Yeah, they're like 30K, and every few weeks I'll look and they like are 100 more. And I'm like, come on, guys, stop going. So no, people have already been passing me. Like at one point I was ranked 15, and then I kept getting pushed back to 17, and then I'd get back to 16, and then just back and forth. Like the person who
is there anybody that's has more KC than you that doesn't have the pet?
Yes. So Daisy Fletching is in the pet cord. She got it at 14,546 or something. So I'm like 300 behind her. She's the driest so far in the pet cord, but I think there might be people who are drier and they just haven't gotten it yet to post in pet cord, because there's been a lot of people passing me in the high scores. But I mean, I guess some people maybe just like the high scores. True. But it's making me think people are going dry on it. But I'm torn because people are like, "Oh, that'd be cool if you went the driest," but I don't need that, you know. Like I'm fine just getting the pet, and not going the driest.
You're fine like, now until you actually hit like 20,000, where you're like, "Okay, now I actually want to see how crazy this can really get." You know?
I started feeling that way when I hit 7K, and that was 7,000 ago. I'm like, okay, the like novelty of it's gone. Like, just give me the fucking pet already. But I think it was like No Monkey rated me last month, and like was like, oh, you probably like don't want the pet till you can be the driest. And I'm like, no, I just want it. I don't care about being the driest. Like I'll make a short out of it if I am, but I'd rather just be done. I'm losing money. I've lost hundreds of mils at Scurious because I use a scythe, and for at least probably 6,000 KC, I AFK blood barraged. I would spend like 30 mil a day on blood runes in Death Rune. It is such a waste of money.
Yeah. Do you do like Blood Fury Scythe now?
Or no, I just do just Scythe.
Okay, wow.
Now, yeah, I've decided I'm like annoying and I will only do Scurious on stream now. Because like this me, KC, surely any day I'll get the pet, right?
Yeah, surely, right?
So, yeah. So I only do it on stream now. So I'm like, whatever. I don't need to do like the expensive AFK ways. But it's such a waste of money. Like, that's why like I have a hard time with, like the content creation as well, because like people are like, we want to see money makers, and I'm like, you want to see me lose probably close to a bill at Scurious, this rat, for no reason.
That is so nuts though. 14,000 rat kills.
Yeah, it's gross. I don't know how I got to this point. I've had a more than 99% chance of getting the pet at this point, according to the dry calculator.
Oh my god.
So no, Megan, I will not be going for different ranks. I will leave. I'm done.
All right. She also asks, how do you manage to work a full-time job, run a podcast, stream, and make shorts every week without feeling burnout? And any advice for people who want to get into content creation?
I would say if you want to get into content creation, don't do it like being like, this is gonna be my job, because then I think they'll make you get burnt out faster. For me, having a set schedule helps me keep everything in order. So like I stream on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Fridays from like weekdays 8 to 9:30, and then Friday 8 to midnight, and then Wednesday and Thursday we record the podcast over 2 days, and Saturday I usually will make all my shorts for the week. So having a schedule just keeps me like on track. And also I think I like staying busy a little bit, because like last week I got ahead of shorts. Like I usually just schedule for a week, and I scheduled for like 10 days, and then I was like, I don't know what to do now. I feel like I need to do something productive. I don't know if that's a good thing, but I think I have a part of me that feels like I'm always supposed to be doing something. So that kind of helps.
You are a checklist person, like you were saying. Like you kind of like
yes,
that.
I am. Yeah. So checking stuff off makes me feel good. That helps. If you're not like that, then it's exhausting. But yeah, like I said earlier, whenever I first started working full time, everything sucked. And I was like, should we quit the podcast? Should I quit streaming? Like, should I stop doing everything? But I just like it. Having passion for it and liking list and checking stuff off makes it a lot easier.
She's the Santa Claus of RuneScape.
I am the Santa Claus of RuneScape. I'm making my list and checking it twice.
Oh my god. It's funny because I think most, well, I wouldn't say most, but I guess again, more projecting on my part, but I've definitely been in a phase. I've been in multiple phases. Like when I'm feeling the most down, it's like, oh man, I should just like I'm not gonna continue this podcast. I'm just like in my head
Yes,
about how fucking stupid it is, and just like how just like I'm just talking about RuneScape for the 100 and something time. Like who cares anymore? And I just get so in my head about it. And then, but I'll have like these really illuminating moments where it's like, okay, you don't need to stop everything. You just need a little break. You're fine. You'll recover. And you don't need to throw everything in the bin that you've been working on for a while. And that's always like a nice thing to remember is like, even when I'm feeling the most like, oh my God, I just want to quit something. Like I just want to quit streaming or whatever. It's like, just don't need to. It's like temporary burnout. You're fine.
It's a bad day, not a bad life.
Exactly.
Dude, I feel that way especially whenever I get busy. Because,
You want to
like,
quit?
yeah, because
Okay, you brought up like, man, we have to record the podcast again, but you're kind of being sarcastic, but like I could tell you're a little serious.
well, yeah, it's like whenever I feel like there's not enough time, it's just like, dude, I have to like plan, and it's like self-imposed, so it's like
Yeah.
you're like mad at yourself, and I'm like,
But then we always have fun once we start. I think it's the like the mentally preparing to be like, I'm gonna
yeah,
sit here for a few hours and do nothing else and focus is hard.
yeah,
But once we're actually in it, it's
because at
easier
least
for
for
me.
us, ideally, like I've looked at like the stuff to talk about, or I've like prepared some stuff to talk about, so there's like a little bit of prep work, but like doing that, and then like let's say the upcoming week. We're gonna do the podcast during like Thanksgiving,
Yeah, we need to talk about that. We need
so
to
it's like we need to plan about that. Like going to people's places, like when are we gonna do it? It's like there's a lot to think about, so it's kind of annoying sometimes.
Yeah. But then the other days you'll be like, let's upgrade our entire podcast system. Like that sounds more fun. Let's get 2 mics and record it on the couch.
Yeah,
That's what I always have these like little feelings of like, oh, I want to like sort of revamp how I do podcasting.
Yeah.
Like I want to like break free from this, confined thing. It's not even confined. The thing is the Sae Bae cast is so free flowing. It's literally just, we just
Yeah.
talk about whatever. But there's some of the time I'm like, oh, maybe I should add some structure to it and make it more concise. Maybe make it like 30 minutes to 45 minutes and make it like just a
Like
more
jam-packed.
like we're gonna jam pack these questions, get through them quick, make it more concise, make it better for the listener. And then I'm like, do I need to do that? Like I wonder, like, is this gonna be a positive thing over time, or is this
Yeah.
or just a lot of people gonna be like, what are you doing? Like I liked
Yeah.
the default.
Just think, would it make you happy? Because you already have like, I feel like you have like people that are like loyal listeners, like they're gonna be there, and new people are like finding you all the time. So it's at this point, like I feel like you just keep doing whatever makes you happy, and people just like your energy and the vibe and stuff, and they'll just keep listening, even if you change it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And I can't see it because I have so much imposter syndrome, but like
Right.
I try to empathize with them a little bit. Like, you like Sae Bae, huh? That doesn't compute, but okay, like we got it.
Yeah, like this random person in the Karamjin gem mine was talking about you. Like,
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's a friendly reminder. I appreciate it.
yeah.
Yeah, no, and I also recognize as well, like everybody has different tastes. Like I am one of those people, again, like I can just listen to 3 hours of people talking about RuneScape. I love it personally.
Do you
And so,
listen to RuneScape podcast a lot?
I used to a lot more. It's definitely toned back now, but I usually like people's rambles. Like I think the thing I would like podcasts more, but I think what I really gravitate toward is like a monologue of somebody talking about RuneScape for like 30 minutes. Just like, that is great. I love it.
Yeah.
dude, I'm gonna make videos of just me talking about obscure content
Like
for
this
people
one
like
for you,
you.
Satyr.
No, it's genuinely what I like. Like I love, and as long as you're radiating passion, you're just like, whatever you're talking about is something that's actually on your mind. You're not just like trying to make a filler video. It's great. I love it.
I feel like you have a lot of things you can make
Yeah.
videos out of.
It's funny because I have it pulled up, but like in case we like needed something to talk about, there's like an interesting Reddit thread about like removing rune pouch degradation, and I was all like, man, I feel like I could talk for like an hour about why this like
Yeah.
what I feel about this
You
or
definitely
whatever.
could make so many videos, but you do psych yourself out being like, what's the point? Like, because you want to ramble about it.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
I don't know.
fuck it, do it.
No, it's really it. It's really it. You just gotta like make stuff you can't think about it. I fall into that trap a lot of the time. But
Yeah.
let me actually ask you, what is your thought on that? You're talking about like the rune crafting pouches, right?
Yeah, it was. I don't know why it got so popular, but it's like on the Reddit yesterday, the subreddit, it got like 4,000 upvotes, and it's just someone asking, "Can we just remove pouch degradation?" Because they think it's a dumb mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is it just to keep the abyss relevant? Due to the
no,
abyss?
I mean, I okay. Well, obviously, it's never just like should we like is it good or bad or not. That's I think looking at it incorrectly, but I do think it's dumb to just like be like, oh, this is an inconvenient thing. Let's remove it from the game, which is kind of like their take.
Yeah. Do you think it's making it too easy escape?
Well, I mean, the thing is like, it's kind of like we talked about earlier. Is like if you just remove everything you don't like from the game because there's like a little bit of friction, then it's like, what's the point? Like,
Yeah.
you just like you beat the boss, you got the princess, like you got all the loot, like that's the end of the game. Like, what do you want at the end of the day? Do you want there to be no friction or like what? And so, I mean, I get that it's not like a core mechanic that makes rune crafting important
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, but it
My
will.
small pouch degrading every 2 runs is actually the most important thing in my life right now.
Yeah, like I don't know, that's like one of the really weird intricacies of RuneScape where it's like one of the fun parts of RuneScape, whether you like it or not, is finding a weird way to make something not annoying or like trash content
Mm-hmm.
because there's ways around this. I mean, obviously getting the cape will just immediately resolve this,
Does it
but
tell you?
no, the cape removes degradation.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
didn't even know that. Well, are we lying? I don't know if you know Seder.
No, you're not. That's accurate.
I was like, sometimes we just be saying shit. And you're like, that's not true.
Yeah,
No,
like we've talked about this before on our podcast too.
yeah, no, I think I'm pretty indifferent to the whole thing. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely lean more on just get rid of pouch degradation because I actually think it's stupid. It's very archaic. Now, you don't need to fully scrap it, but like they make it so inconvenient. Like
It's
it's just
very
like
frequent with the lower level ones, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
yeah,
super often.
it's really frequent and it's just like it's really a nuisance. Like if you don't have the lantern, for example, like there's a like isn't there like a lantern that doesn't make them
Yeah,
degrade?
the redwood lantern, I
But
think.
it's only inside the mini game.
Yeah, and that's stupid.
Oh,
That is so
Yeah,
stupid.
I agree. It is archaic, but like, I
But you're
guess it's
right about the
like,
friction. You're right about you can't remove all. There has to be some element of like I
yeah,
finally hit this milestone. I don't have to deal with this nonsense anymore.
yeah. Makes stuff more satisfying to complete when you have to actually like
yeah,
try hard.
exactly. Because then it's like, I mean, if you remove all the bad, quote unquote bad or
Hmm.
annoying parts of the game, then what's left? Just you winning. Like you're winning all the time. It's like
It feels good at first, but
how
then even that's not fun
how
anymore.
fun is just never losing? Like a good part of the game is like coming back from dying and stuff like that, or like you lose your account. It's
Yeah,
like,
like me of Ardorvis last night for 3 hours, dying over and over till I finally got that CA, and it felt so good.
yeah,
Hell
or like
yeah.
Yeah.
like getting to Jad and dying 7 times sucks, but when you get it, it's like you can't recreate those moments if you just win.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So obviously this isn't to the same scale, and I think someone else's suggestion is like a good median where it's like if you get the Abyssal Lantern and then put the redwoods in it, which removes the degradation, that should just work everywhere.
It is kind of
Yes.
weird it only works inside of Guardians of the
Yeah,
It's
Rift.
like
so
that
dumb.
would be a good in
Yeah.
between, but like just removing it, like removing run energy, like
Yeah.
yeah,
No.
those things suck, but
Those lanterns, I now they could rebalance the effect if it's too OP outside of the minigame. I actually don't remember what the log effects are for every log, but
Yeah.
just rebalance it so it works outside of the minigame. I think that's so silly that it only works in the minigame. And
yeah.
plus, it would be like that lantern would feel so good to get. Like when you pull that, the dopamine
Yes.
of
Oh
knowing
yeah.
no more degradation. And
Like
again,
you pull that and you're like, here we go, dude.
it's a high
Especially,
fucking requirement for irons too to get a
yeah.
redwood log. That's so high. Like you gotta fucking chop a redwood log.
I know for my account too, I was just staying there. I don't remember what my goal was, but I think I was just trying to get the lantern, and then I'm gonna go back and try to get the pet eventually. But I got the lantern and I was like, oh, I can't even really use this because that was my goal and I'm done here. Like there's
Yeah,
there's no
that's
benefits
awful.
here anymore. Especially
Awful.
like your last thing in the collection log. It's like, well, now I am leaving and I'll never use this again.
Yep.
That's kind of weird.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Not optimal.
no. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird, but like I like the annoying things in the game to an extent. Because
Oh yeah, you with your shooting stars for a full month of free
yeah,
to play.
at the end of the day, it's the same reason people like. It's so weird because I don't think people see it this way, but it's the same exact reason you like weirdly obscure locked accounts. Because
You like the
you
challenge.
like the friction, you like the challenge. That's what
Hmm.
makes it interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, there always is an element of friction that's just unfun. Like, and I don't have a deep philosophy of this, but I'm just imagining, imagine star mining. It's like every 4 minutes your pickaxe gets hurt, and so you have to go run to this fucking guy to repair your
Yeah.
pickaxe. It's just like it's like friction like that, where it's just like, dude, this is genuinely offering nothing except nuisance. Just like,
Just kind of unplayable.
yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it's hard to really figure out where that like friction to annoyance is, like, because you need to keep it sometimes, but some of the time is like, can we not need this? Like, is that fine?
No, yeah,
Honestly,
yeah,
just making the
absolutely.
lantern available everywhere outside would immediately fix it. I mean, it'd still be shitty the grind to 90 or whatever, but at least you have like a goal to work towards. I think
Hmm.
like that's my favorite thing in RuneScape is just like all the different goals to work towards.
Yeah.
And then it feels really good when you
Yeah.
get it.
It's funny because like I like things like this where people have like large like blanket hard stances on something, and I really love whether or not it's trying to convince them. I don't even know what my end game is. I just love picking it apart
Yeah.
just to like
Yeah.
in my mind think about how absurd your statement is like fun enough for me. That's the end goal.
You love
Mm.
being a hater.
Well,
No,
yeah,
it's great. It's great, like having a honest debate about very subjective things. Like, it's like, I really enjoy it too. I like kind of like disagreeing, just to kind of get a little bit of pressure testing on like certain people's like ideas for the game. I think it's always fun because
Yeah.
a
yeah,
lot of my ideas are they used to be really jaded as well years ago. That I've understood, but like I wasn't ever super crazy like just with
Hmm.
it. But there would be very hard like stances I would take on some things. I'm just like, no, like for example, well, this is a little bit of an exception, but like I always was against stackable clothes.
oh,
And
really?
Want them.
but
I
but
don't care. I want them.
yeah, no, but the thing is, like, they basically, with one update, unpulled, made stackable clothes. It's just in a really
Yeah.
annoying way, which is juggling. And
The
so,
hour-long
yeah,
juggle
yeah,
sessions.
I had
yeah. So, like,
13 hard clues on the ground the other week.
yeah, like, and the thing is like, it is fun. A lot of people enjoy that. But I know for a fact we're not reverting that update. Like, nobody wants and nobody's expecting this hour drop limit to be reverted back to 3 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
nobody's expecting it. And so the only way forward, because I think right now what we have is just a messy, muddy middle ground of
I
like this
hate it. I
annoying
hate it,
juggling.
dude.
And it's basically already stackable. Like, it kind of feels like that already. And so at this point, I'm completely against my previous philosophy, which was like never add stackable clues. I always had like different variations of like how you could kind of have stackable clues, but not to that extent. But
Yeah.
at this point, I'm literally like, just add stackable clues. Like, I'm actually for that because of how private servery it feels to juggle 30 clues simultaneously.
Yeah, we have like the hard version of stacking clues because it's cool that they stay for an hour. It makes me like want to actually stack them. But at the same time, like whenever I was going to work that week, I was like, well, I don't want to log in and do anything in mobile because I don't know if it's been an hour
Clues,
and I don't
yeah,
have like clues
exactly.
to disappear. So I just like on my lunch are just like staring at Discord.
Yeah, that's horrible. They gotta change that, and so I've been yelling a little bit more on my casts and rambles, and just like, because I feel like Jagex needs the approval of the player base at large, and so me being a strong voice against it, I
Yes.
need to like go against the grain now of what I used to speak, and I'm just like, dude, just add stackable clues because almost everybody is on board with that. There are still a few people that one probably don't even do clue scrolls, so they're still living in the past where they don't even understand what juggling clues is, and they're like,
one of
no,
my
never
mods
add
who
stackable
doesn't want
clues.
stackable doesn't do them, and I'm like, you don't even do clues.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, they're already stackable. Like they're pretty much like we already pretty much have stackable clues. So yeah, I feel like just talking more about it, yelling about it, the J mods are gonna understand. Like, okay, the player base wants stackable clues. We were against this years and years ago, but at this point, it's just like whatever, just send it.
I think especially since you have like a platform and stuff too, like people will see what you're saying. I'm like, yes, put it out there so people will see it and agree.
Yeah, stackable clues would be nice because I hate doing clues. So if I have like a stockpile of like 15 masters, I'll be like, maybe I'll do them now.
Kind of day,
Yeah.
And even a cool way to go about it, if people, because there are some elements of the juggling clue that actually allow like restricted accounts to get clues done. So I think the best form of stackable clues would be like what they do with the leagues, where you get these scroll boxes, and then you can release a clue from it, and then that is a clue that you can now juggle, like with the system we have now. So you can open up the scroll boxes as many as you want. You can open up like 5 or so, and you got to juggle them now because the scroll boxes are stackable, but the actual clue scrolls could still not be stackable in a way. Just so you can.
That's a nice compromise.
Yeah.
So then you still have to drop them on the ground if you really don't want to do that step, but it's not the same.
Exactly, and I think that would be like the best system to go about. Is just
you should have Modash on again and talk to him about this. It's probably his decision, I'm sure.
Nah, I don't know. I think he's very humble. He crosses things by the team. But yeah, it's really just talk. I mean, I've talked to a bunch of J mods about it even recently, so I think most of them are on board. They're very good at like maintaining a neutral stance to these things on podcasts, though, because they kind of have to.
I don't want to get hate.
Yeah. Okay. Megan also asks, what are your future goals for your OSRS account? I think she's addressing you, Michelle. But I guess we can also ask you, Rob.
Yeah. Michelle is like it's funny because you mentioned this at the very start of the podcast, like the name BuneBape, like what do we put? But like
so cringe now that I stream. Whenever we started the podcast, it was just the podcast, so it was BuneBape, and now it sounds like is it egotistical? Is that how you say the word?
Yeah.
I guess.
To be like, my name's BuneBape and this is my podcast, BuneBape. I'm like, God damn it! Like, it didn't start like that. Like, I was not BuneBape, but I guess over time I've become BuneBape.
Yep.
It's weird. I'll be Boone in your Bape.
Sure. Yeah, go.
But account goals right now, I'm working on just like collection logging for skilling stuff. I'm having like a lot of fun collection logging. I really want to get master CAs. Like I really want the Versic helm, but let me see how far off I am. I'm 155 points off. So that's like not looking good. Obviously, Scurrious Pet's up there. And then I just want to raid more. Like I just want stuff and have fun with friends. I don't have any like real goals. My only goal right now, like solid goals, are just Scurrious and Brimhaven Agility until I finish this in a few days.
Nice.
I always give her shit because once upon a time, like 3 years ago,
what
she's all like on the podcast, she's like, all right, well, I guess we're doing like the looking into the next year thing for New Year's.
It was in 2021.
And she's like, I think I might max this year.
I'm never gonna say that. I'm level 2,239. I can't focus on maxing. I can't.
That is so close. Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I think when she said it, she was only like 20 levels below where she is now. Like, she is not leveling.
Don't. Because that year I started raiding. And then I was like, oh, all I want to do is raid.
Yeah. She did like chambers for like a year straight or something.
I love chambies.
Yeah, and then she chose to go dry on a rat pet. Like, what the hell?
I know.
Why did you choose that?
It's such a waste of time. And like, before the rat pet, I was going dry on, not Temporos, Tangleroot. That took me 105 million farming XP to get. I just got that a couple months ago finally.
Damn.
It was my first 99, so people are like, I have a redeem on my stream that's like skill for 5 minutes. And I'd be like, okay, we're going to go do a farming run. And they're like, I meant a skill you don't have 100 million XP in. Like they'll actually make a difference.
Yeah, it's funny because she started going for Tangleroot when we first started the stream or the podcast.
I got my first 99 farming in 2020, October 2020, and I just got the pet like 2 months ago.
Yep. That's how it
I
goes.
did have, yeah, I had some times where I wouldn't work on it, but it was pretty consistently working on it.
My main iron has like 69 mil farming. It's funny because
Nice.
I'm yeah, nice. I maxed in 2019, the very end of 2019 is
Oh
when I
my
maxed on
gosh.
the account, and I think genuinely I was 60 mil farming when I maxed, and I only gained 9 mil farming in like the next like 4 years, basically.
You,
It's just like
you
I
still
just
not have the pet?
no, I never got the pet. Now that's not even that crazy rare, so I never got the pet, and then I made my group hardcore,
Yeah.
and I got 2 Tangle Root pets at level 79 and
Bro.
87.
I hate that. Whenever we started a GIM, whenever it first came out, me, Robert, and one of our mods, and I would like not farm because I was like, if I get Tangle on here, I'm gonna be genuinely upset. Like I
Yeah,
don't want Tangle on here.
Yeah.
And our mod got it at like 20.
Yeah.
it's crazy.
What
That,
are
that,
your account goals? Oh, sorry.
Oh no,
Continue.
no. I'll ask Rob. That was the last thing I was gonna say is like it is kind of fun making a new account though because you always wonder what your RNG is gonna be like on this account. You know, like ooh,
Dude,
can I get
he's
a
got
lucky
really
pet?
lucky.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because that's like kind of my thing is I just make new accounts. I don't ever actually get to end game ever.
He said he loves Top. He did Top entry mode on his main that he hasn't played in 3 years a few times, and that was it.
Well, yeah.
He liked the idea of Top more than
The
anything.
idea of
Yeah.
top. I mean, if you enjoyed entry mode and you enjoy that kind of feel, like if you have an account that's built for it, like you have all the gear and stuff, and
Yeah.
you're gonna dedicate hours and hours to do top, yeah, you would find it so much fun. It's so thrilling.
I know you
Yeah.
love it.
I like it a lot. Honestly, I think it is because by far my most experience is in like World of Warcraft. Like I did like fairly high-end rating. It was like top 300 in the world or whatever.
Brag.
But
Damn.
the thing is, like, it's similar because it's like in WoW, the fight is the same no matter what, always, and
Yeah.
that's how it is in chamber or in
Not
Tob.
chambers.
So it's all like if you just know the mechanics and are good at it, you get rewarded for it, which
Hmm.
is like nice, and it's you know what to expect. Whereas like the other raids aren't always like that.
The
So
puzzle rooms kind of fuck you up too in TOA.
yeah,
Yeah.
I actually haven't ever done TOA, but it's I think that's why I liked Tob so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Tob is like universally accepted as like better than Toa. Well, not quite. There's a lot. I feel like the more advanced PVMers would agree with that. The more new people that probably even haven't even dived into Tob yet would probably say Toa is better. But
Yeah, TOA is like good for money because it seems like you get drops frequently.
you do.
Whereas like Chambers like the worst for money, even though the drops are worth a lot at least. Like
Toa is just the most exhausting. It's
it
because
mentally is exhausting.
yeah, it's like you have 4 rooms before the final room, and every one of those rooms has another room. So it's like 8 fucking
Yeah.
rooms you're going through just to get to the final boss that has 3 phases or 4 phases, however you consider it. And it's just like, god damn. And so by the end, you're so mentally drained, even though it's not that long of a raid. It's just like
Yeah.
it
It could be
feels
20
like you
minutes,
were
but
there
it feels like
forever.
awful.
Yeah, it was painful. I'm so glad I got on Sae Bae. I got lucky on everything. I
Really?
soloed all my purples. I did some team raids, but all the purples I got were soloed. And I got a shadow at like 150 or something. In case I was just so fucking lucky. I was like, thank God.
Oh my god.
I've seen
Nice.
horrific dry streaks there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've never done, well, actually, I've never like really finished a raid on any of my accounts. Like I've
You
like,
carried us in that entry mode, Tob. Me and the other
yeah,
person
I was
died.
like, I've been in raids, but I've never like really participated in
Hmm.
them. But I always find it funny because Michelle's done a lot of TOA and I guess now Tob, but also Chambers, and
Like 500 each.
she's never seen a like, one of the pinnacle rares.
Mm,
Yeah. Okay, at Chambers, my 10th KC, I got a Kodai, which was so lucky.
wow.
I died like 6 times that raid. I was in VC. I was dead upstairs at a bank, getting ready to run back down, and they're like, "No way, she got it." And I was like, "What happened, guys?" Like I didn't even know what was going on. And then I ended up getting the Elder Mall. I think like 100, like probably like 300 or 400 KC. But yeah, I've not gotten the Tebow.
You've never even seen a TiVo
No,
or a
I've seen a
scythe.
Tebow
Oh,
split.
the bowlet.
Yeah,
Okay.
someone got a
Okay.
bullet. They got spooned it. That was cool. And
Crazy.
never got a shadow, but I've gotten 2 splits. Never seen anyone get a scythe. I think I'm like 350
Yeah.
KC at top actually. But yeah,
Yeah,
I've
that
got
was crazy.
expensive mega rares finally. But instead I just go to fucking Scurriers.
Yeah. I think that's pretty wild because you have like a few hundred like Casey at each place.
Well, to be fair, at TOA, I have 3 TOA pets. So I've gone, my RNG is elsewhere.
Yeah, I guess so.
After the first pet, though, it's like, okay, I don't need dupes. I'm fine. I'd rather you just give me a purple. I'm good.
So
Yeah, I don't. I don't know.
we like hinted at it, but so what are your future goals then, Rob?
Oh,
Yes, yeah.
mine is always to just find more time to play the game because, you know, I
My
don't.
future goal is logging in.
Yeah, like that's I mean, I haven't told anyone this, but
Are you
well,
gonna
Michelle
see?
knows. I was doing like the free to play thing for a while, but then I kind of realized that like
So much
wouldn't
time.
really align with the amount of time I have to play and stuff like
Mm,
that. So I kind of just put that pretty much to the side and made a new account and like actually like subscribed for like a year or
You did
whatever.
a year sub for it?
Yeah, it's just
Oh,
way
damn.
more, it's just way cheaper. So it's like if I'm gonna play, I might as well just do the whole thing.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And then so that account I'm gonna like try and progress towards Tob so that I can actually like raid for real on like an account for the first time.
Now is
And
this
maybe make
Iron
a
Man
video.
or a normal account?
Iron Man, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I'll ever play main
I
again.
don't think I
He,
can
It's
either.
just
It's
he
hard.
got hacked. He lost like all of his money.
yeah, but even before that, it's kind of just like I hated the mindset of being like, I might as well go to Money Dragon because
Yeah,
if you're not, then you're dumb. Like,
No, I can't think that way. That's why I just like I do all these dumb things that lose money, but I'm like, I don't care like that much. I want
I
to make
yeah.
money, but I'd rather just have fun and do what I want.
Iron Man gives you that little extra excuse to not be efficient. It's nice. It's because
Yes.
like if you're streaming a main account, you're gonna get judged more. Like people are gonna be
Oh
like,
yeah.
"Why aren't you rating or doing the absolute? Why aren't you doing necks on repeat until you make fucking 5 bill? Like why aren't you doing
I
Yeah.
that?"
know, and I'm like, I'm gonna go back to Scarius.
It's like that's cool, but like for me, I can't separate the mindset
It's hard. I agree.
of like, oh, cool, if I just stay here for 57 more hours, then I can get my next upgrade for the account, and then I'll do this again for 102 hours after that. And it's like, just because it's just money per hour at the end of the day.
Hmm.
So I can't get away from that mindset. So because of that, I'll probably never make a main or play my main ever again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm kind of with you. It's
I love
hard.
my main.
That people
I've
are.
like,
Yeah, go for
mhm.
it.
Oh, I was just gonna say like I've made other accounts like GIM and try to make a hardcore, but I love my main. There's so much progress on it. I think because I like collection logging too. I'm like, this is like my forever account. This is my baby. I can't play on multiple accounts either. Like, I just wish I was playing on this account.
Yeah, no, I feel like so people have been wanting me to like do a UIM. I keep
Yeah.
saying like I'm gonna keep UIM in my back pocket indefinitely. Like I understand that that could be appealing sometime in the future, but like right now it just sounds horrible. It sounds like hell to do a UIM. Just
It's like the final boss of content creation is making an ultimate
it
iron
really
account.
is. It's like you've just burnt out. You've burnt out of all your. You've exhausted all other options. It's just like okay, here you go. Just a little last resort UIM, and then get addicted to it. Because everybody, it seems like every creator that starts one like actually loves it by the end,
So
which
they
is
say.
bizarre. Or maybe
I don't
it's
know if I
just like I'm
believe
I'm
it.
only seeing the people that actually end up sticking with it, and then they enjoy it. So I'm getting like a biased like version.
Yeah,
Um,
only survivor's bias.
yeah, exactly. That's actually it. So I think though that Iron Man is what I always gravitate toward. It's just I feel like it's so pure. It's so just basic. It's got everything you need with not that many restrictions, and it's like. And I was saying this at the beginning of the podcast, just making this account. Like so many people were like, "Why didn't you make a hardcore and then just like see how long you can last?" First of all, I already died on this account. I died the first like 3 fucking hours because I was doing waterfall quests, and I just
There
like
you
Yeah.
didn't
go.
bring any food because I'm just not a hardcore, so I don't care. And I just like walking and just getting punched fucking 14s everywhere, and it just didn't bring me.
I
I'm just
love
like,
just dying over and over
yeah.
again and it means nothing.
So it was really funny though because like people were like, "Oh man, you really should have started as a hardcore and then just died, and then you could say you were a hardcore and you died already." But I don't even want to deal with the stress of a hardcore, even if I hadn't died. Like I just that stress is just unreasonable. It's stupid. You could lose it at any point to a lag spike. No, Iron
Oh
Man's the
my God,
goat in my opinion.
I feel so bad for people who lose it because of like the servers. Like no fault of their
Oh,
own. Painful. I think that just happened to Judders. Like there
Yeah.
was like the servers just like stopped and they lost their hardcore.
Yeah, it
Ugh.
happens all the time. Unfortunate.
The best deaths are like just true failure to execute, and you
Yes.
just see a guy just get mopped, and you're just like, oh, okay, there you go. Like that was
Yeah.
it. That
It's
was
valiant.
that was a great. I don't know if you saw T Papa's death. He had a hardcore, and he died like a few days ago, 3 days ago or something. He died at Toa, and he's at the very end, the enrage phase where all the shadows are coming up and stuff, and he
Getting
just
stacked out, dude.
just got stacked out. Like and you could see him. You just kind of see the little panic, like the brief panic. I was like,
Oh
oh
no.
shit! Like, and he's trying to like click something. He doesn't have any ambrosia left, I don't think, and he's just. I think he
Oh
like
my
pop blocked
God.
himself drinking a restore, and he just got like double banged like a rock from Zebak, like the ghost version, and then a shadow, and just got stacked like 40 and died. It's just like, oh, like that.
That's painful.
It's
That's a
just
good death
it
though. Like
is.
that's
It's
how you're
so
supposed
good.
to die.
It's so good because you know it was all his own fault. Like there's no
Yeah, you
excuses.
tried your best.
Yep.
Exactly. I think Sid died at TOA as well in his hardcore. Like this
Yeah.
like a year ago. He died to Baba. And I'm like, that's a good death though, because like you were trying.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
wasn't like you went AFK and like something like a goblin killed you.
He was like one tile away from that rock, right? That's what killed him.
Yeah,
He
it was
wasn't
something like
actually
that.
adjacent to it. He thought he
Ugh.
was.
Yikes.
It's
That
bad.
one's a little bit more horrible because he thought he was safe.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
it's
he
different
wasn't
than
like
just,
fighting to the end.
yeah. Like it's just like he thought he was already good. He didn't recognize that he wasn't actually right next to the rock. He was one tile off. So
Dude, it's so funny. This reminds me. I like history a lot,
mhm.
and this reminds me of like everyone knows like Spartans or whatever from like the movies and stuff. But like they had like a legit like thing where their like entire goal was to have a beautiful death.
Mm,
Oh,
Yeah, like
in battle.
yeah, to die in battle. It was a beautiful death. Like dying of old age is like pretty
Pussy dead.
like kind of like heresy. Like they didn't want that stuff. Like so that reminds me of that. It's kind of funny.
I think of it like the ancient Roman way.
Yeah,
Or Spartan
exactly.
way.
We are all Spartans at the end of the day.
Sorry, not me. I'm like, I'm happy to just die of old age.
yeah, no, but having a good death. I mean, I died to a fucking mushroom on my hardcore group. That wasn't great. It was,
I watched that clip.
The the
well,
beautiful zygomite death.
yeah, it's awful. It's just like, yeah, hardcore. It's not good enough for me. It's just too. You don't know when the end is gonna happen, and it's just like there. I need that endless sense of progression to really just
Yes,
capture all my attention. So
I agree.
Yeah.
Fuck
It's
hardcores.
funny, I'm kind of like conflicted with that because in a lot of games I do play the hardcore variant,
I just don't get it
but
because you get so stressed when you
I
die.
do. But like that's like again, it's kind of like the friction thing where it's like, that's like what makes it good or
Yeah.
whatever. But the thing is there's so many hours into an account on RuneScape where it's like at some point I just feel foolish if I were to like die 1,000 hours in and it's like I could have just been a regular Iron Man this whole time, or am I gonna restart?
Yeah.
It's like I don't know.
The only way I like is like whenever people, the only way I could see myself doing is when you die in the hardcore, but you just keep it as a regular iron. Like losing
yeah,
the account forever, I'm like, man, that just seems like such a bummer.
you do get this like almost everybody gets that little sense of burnout though. As soon as you lose the
Yeah.
life, it's just like fuck, this doesn't feel
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
because it's like,
right.
man, what's the point of continuing? I should just restart.
Yep.
Yeah.
It feels more pure in my opinion. It's like the last thing I'll say on it. It's just like it genuinely feels more pure to start off as a normal Iron Man because it's just that was what you were birthed in. You weren't born to be hardcore. You weren't born a hardcore. You were born a normal Iron Man, and you'll continue to be
Yeah.
one. Like you're good. Like you're not
Yeah,
losing status. You're maintaining that status. That's better. That's a better feeling for me.
yeah, it's weird. I agree. I don't. I mean, that's why I also don't really get the like downgrading your account type of thing. I'm like, that's not what that.
Like people de-ironing.
That's not the like point of that account. Like, what are you doing to that account? Like, go make a new one. Like, I
Hmm.
don't like what you're doing with
I
your
guess
own
it,
account.
yeah, it's
So,
like a purity thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Okay. Ellie asks, or she says, "Te amo." And also, is there any RuneScape creator that you would like to collaborate on your podcast that you haven't yet?
Um, You can answer too, Robert.
Yeah.
Wanna go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like I don't know who listens, so hopefully people won't like take this personally. I want to have all the RuneScape girls on. I just like there's a obviously it's a prominently male game, and I still want to have men on the show as well, but I feel like this sounds so cheesy, but I'm like the girls don't get enough credit, so I'm like I want to have all of them, and I like having people who are like my size or similar sizes, like maybe a little bit bigger on the podcast too, because like the big having big guests on is obviously exciting as well, and I want to do that too, but maybe like smaller creators like you don't hear from as much, or maybe like it's actually like helping them like find new viewers and stuff. It's not anyone in particular. I really want to have my friend Witch Eileen come on. She doesn't stream as much anymore, but she's like first page skiller hardcore, like skilling 200 mil XP in some skills. Like I think that'd be so fun to have her on. And then I'll probably ask you to come on in like a year once we have more stuff to talk about after this.
You can invite me on anytime. I would, even if it's next month. I think that would be fun.
I feel like we have to have a break so then I could be like, all right, I've forgotten everything we talked about. Let's talk about it again.
No, honestly, I'd be honored. It'd be fun.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely invite you sometime. Maybe Robert will join when we have a guest this time.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's not really anyone like super in particular. I just like I'll watch someone stream and I'm like, oh, I like their energy. Next time I have a guest on, I'll invite them. But usually I'll invite people that I'm closer to because I have like social anxiety. So I'm like, fuck, like what am I gonna talk about? I literally will. I don't know if you do this, but I have a list of like topics that I write down in Notepad in case I don't know what to talk about.
There's sometimes I do that. Sometimes,
yeah,
like this one, honestly, because I like was kind of going over a few of your guys' like latest podcasts before I had you guys on. I was like, you guys can carry your own. Like I feel very confident that when we start this conversation, we'll be just fine. Like not, we'll keep talking, so it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. And like whenever I have other people from other podcasts on, like I don't really have to worry about them as much. And we usually don't even cover what I write down anyway. But yeah, if I like watch someone and I like their vibe, I'm like, I want to befriend you, and then once you're my friend, I want to have you on the podcast. So then I won't feel awkward.
That's great.
Yeah, there's like someone I wanted to hit up recently. I want to hit up Sid, and then I'm gonna list some men now, just so you guys don't think I hate men. I want to have Arc Rain on. I love Arc. He's so funny.
Yeah.
And oh my God, who's another man, Robert?
There's no others.
Oh God, that's it. You. That's it. And then every girl. I'm afraid that men won't like me saying that. Whatever, it's fine. I don't hate you.
Yikes.
I'm scared.
I don't feel like I have anyone that I just like
really
I need to have them on. I do kind of regret not going on to XP Waste podcast.
Gothic Rest.
No, XP Waste.
I was on Gothic Rest.
Weren't you all? Didn't you also have?
I was on XP Waste.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
they didn't invite me.
Okay, well, anyways, well, I guess
so there's a reason you hate men. I see.
Yeah, there you go.
It's all Michael Coxie.
No, because we have talked to them before, so I thought we've been on there. But,
no, we just talked to them on stream.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess maybe them. They seem like, I mean, I don't watch any content, so this is difficult. Just on
your podcast, which is so funny because you didn't want to join because you. I think you, to be fair, you went to sleep like 2 hours before I was done recording.
Yeah, exactly.
Like maybe we'll have our most recent guest on again.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. Yeah, it's tough because I don't watch a lot of creators, but I mean, they seem like they'd be like we could like, I don't know, have a cool conversation or something. Because you said that they have like interesting takes on stuff.
Yeah, and we were talking about supernatural stuff for like an hour. I started to get a little creeped out.
Yeah, see, actually, never mind.
Closed our blinds. That was like something spooky.
Yeah, I don't do that. But besides that, this is gonna be weird because this is like calling out the entire community.
Okay.
And also the guest would be like someone that doesn't exist or that I don't know of. But I like would want someone that doesn't only play RuneScape. Because I low-key feel like everyone in this community only plays RuneScape.
Shut up.
Yeah,
don't look at me.
Like, do you get that vibe? I feel like
it's
like
so
I get that vibe because I literally am that. I'm the embodiment of RuneScape only.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Every
No,
once in a while, I'll play BG3. It's fine.
I don't have a problem with it, but like I usually ostracize myself in like this community because I feel like I'm the only one that compares this game to like other games because I
Mm,
play a lot of other games all the
I have
time.
nothing to compare it to.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a big deal. I don't really care, but it feels like finding another creator that like regularly plays other games would be kind of interesting.
yeah. No,
That's
you're right
messed up.
on that.
You traitor.
I know. I was like, I don't want to call out literally the whole community, but I did.
You're like, but
So
you losers need to play more games.
There are a few people like I had Josh Strife Hayes on, which was great, and he's
Oh,
Oh
obviously
okay.
yeah.
he doesn't play old school RuneScape just nonstop. It's the only game he plays. He's just so much experience with like every fucking MMO basically. So getting
Yeah.
his take on things was fascinating. It's great.
You can have Andrew Gower on.
That is the if I were to be answering this question, that would be it. Like the guest
That'd
I
be
want
it.
on most. The
Yes.
fucking creator of all our addictions is so
Oh,
bad.
that'd be so cool.
That would be sick.
Yeah,
You need
Andrew
to find
Gowers.
someone to reach out to him.
Now,
Oh,
I mean, yeah, no. The thing is like I could publicly the way I had to reach out to Mod Ash was I had to like publicly embarrass myself and be like,
yeah,
"Hey,
you
Mod Ash,
can't
you want to come on the
message me.
podcast?" Like, god damn, I just look like such a clown. And he was
That's
very
so
respectful. Well, first of all, shout out the goddamn community for it because
yeah.
I was very gracious in the tweet to invite him on my cast because I couldn't message him privately. There's like no way for me to do it, and the whole community like got on board and liked it. They just got like
Aw.
hundreds of likes. I'm like, thank you. Like I didn't have to like be a fucking weirdo and like
It's not
try
just
to.
you.
Yeah, it's just like and there was so many comments like, yes, please go on it, please go on. It was like it was so great, and then I think that was the inspiration for him to actually reach out later because he couldn't do it at the time.
I
But he
remember
reached
he
out
said
later.
no.
Yeah, no,
He
it was bad.
replied
It
and I
was
was like, oh,
that
yikes.
that no was kind of like, oh fuck. It's just like I don't want to have to deal with this embarrassment again. And so like the
Yeah.
only way, besides being even weirder, I don't know which would be weirder. Is like fucking asking a J mod that because the thing is, I actually could reach out to Mod Ash and be like, oh, actually no, he's not on Twitter anymore, is he?
Maybe he's on Blue Sky?
Oh wait, no, he's still. Oh, that's so sad. I
Is he
had this.
gone?
I had this weird flex for like half a year, where Mod Ash was only following like 30 people. He's got like 140,000 followers. He's following like 30 people,
Damn.
and I was one of them. And I was like, that was my weird flex. But now he's following 0 people because
Oh my God.
Dang.
I think he's off of Twitter. I think he's only posting big like OSRS stuff. He's hopped off
And
of
then like
like
logging out.
yeah. I think he's just completely hopped off of like dealing with people's like questions and stuff for the most part. I think.
Yeah, I could see that. I feel like that'd be exhausting. It's like you're probably working outside of work because people are constantly messaging you stuff.
Yeah. So he's off of it, but that would be the only way for me to yeah, that was what I was getting on about. I was going to say like he would be the gateway to get to Andrew Gower, but now I can't even fucking message Modass cuz he's not even.
Modash, if you're listening, message him.
So no, but that would be the way, and I don't want to publicly embarrass myself, but that is the one guess, like Andrew Gower, like that is the goat. That's the goat of goats, the creator of
I'd be
RuneScape.
scared. I feel like
Oh,
I
I'd be
would just
so nervous.
yeah, like
I'd
some
be
people
so
I
nervous.
have you seen on. That's why I like having people that are like similar communities to me or not like crazy a lot more than me. Because otherwise, I'm just like, it's just a social anxiety. I'm like, I feel like a little dweeb. Like I feel like I shouldn't ask you.
Now
Like
yeah.
I can't. Oh, like last week. Wait, who was it? I think Spari messaged me and was like, Sater mentioned having you guys on. You should message him. And I was like, no, that's embarrassing. You should reach out to me. And you did, so it worked out. But
Yeah,
I was like,
it
no,
did.
I feel weird.
Yeah, that's awesome though. I did want you guys on. There's so many people I do want on, and I always feel
Yeah.
bad because I feel like if I haven't asked somebody by this point, they're like, oh well, Sae Bae fucking hates me.
Dude,
No,
I made that
honestly, I
joke.
saw that. Robert says that too. He sees, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, Gothic Dress is on. And he's like, wow, he fucking hates us. I'm like, stop.
No, she was
Yeah.
she was showing me like you know how you commission like all the creators that you've
That
had
would be so
on.
cool. Like the poster thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was telling me about that, and I was like, wow, look at all of them finally asking us, really scraping the bottom of the barrel.
See, this is the worst part is like there's actually genuinely so many creators that are big that I have not had on, like genuinely,
Yeah.
like tons.
Yes.
And so it looks like I've had every single person on, but like, no, I've not even cleared half of them.
It just makes it seem like so it's like really eye-opening to realize how much people play this game.
Hmm.
Is like that there's so much more people that you still need to have on. It's so cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And
Right.
and the other thing is like, and I've said this before, it relates to me playing this Ironman where I
Yeah.
don't want the stress, I don't want the pressure. And so the way I've always like done my podcasting is like, I am not going to put unnecessary pressure and stress into something that I deeply enjoy, which is just talking about RuneScape with random people. And as soon as I have to feel obligated to, oh, you have to get this guy on, like, what are you doing? You haven't gotten this guy on yet? Like, what the fuck, man?
Ugh.
And it's like that pressure and that stress is just overwhelming. And because I started leaning into that stress. I was like, oh man, I really should just start like, I should never get repeat guests on until I've covered everybody, because that would be more fair or whatever. And it's just like, dude, I cannot do that. It's stressing me out. Like, I'm just going to get on who I want to get on in the time that I want to have them on. And that is just it. If I miss people, it's
You'll get to them
human.
eventually.
What?
You'll get to them eventually.
Yeah. And the thing, yeah, it's just like, this takes time. I only have one guest on a week. I've even taken 3 weeks off. It got you guys on. It's been 3 weeks since I've had an episode, but
Oh wow, nice.
yeah, so okay, something I was gonna bring up, but maybe I wasn't. Maybe that was the end of my thought. Let me go to the Twitter topics and see if I think Ellie had one more thing she wanted to ask.
Okay.
Oh yeah, do you guys have a favorite episode of your own? I know that's always weird to ask. If people ask me what favorite Sae Bae cast is, I'm like, I'm not answering that.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't listen to
think,
them.
like, not guess. Like, what did we have the most fun recording? I think it's not a specific one, but like one of the most fun ones that we recorded was the first episode that we recorded during Leagues of last year. And it was probably such a shit episode because we were playing Leagues on our phone the entire time. But I feel like we were just so genuinely excited and happy to be playing Leagues. Even if we sounded distracted the entire time, that one was just so much fun to record.
Yeah, I don't
Thumbnails is
know.
holding our phones.
Like, I don't really have like any that I
Well, because
like.
you don't edit it, so you don't hear it again.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I just experience it and that's it. So there are times, probably just like, every like 4 months there will be one episode where I'm like, oh man, that went really well. Everything
Yeah.
like, went smoothly. There was no mess ups, like nothing like that. And so I guess like the ones that sound really good, I guess, are my favorite
Well,
ones.
sometimes the ones that people like respond to the most or like get more listens, I'm like, I feel like that was not a good one. Like, it
That's
didn't
the
sound
worst.
good.
Isn't that
Yeah,
the worst? It's like, this is like subpar like
I
execution. It's like you
know.
guys are just all up on it. It's like, oh, this is so great. It's like, geez, like listen to the good ones,
Yeah.
please.
It's the same with shorts too. People watch like the shittiest short of me
Yep.
like doing Vorkath with no plugins and being like, "Oh, well, you don't use plugins." I'm like, "Bro, I know this short is like 2 years old. Like, please watch something else."
Yeah. I guess it would probably be the ones that remember liking more are when people ask like really good questions.
Yes.
People ask us funny questions because we
Yeah.
always do a Q&A at the end.
Yeah. Some people like some of the questions are like weirdly really thought-provoking and like good,
Rates.
like really good, and those ones are just like some weeks are goofy and some weeks are like that, and I like those ones more.
The thought-provoking ones.
Yeah.
I like the goofy ones.
See, like the Sae Bae cast, it's like I'll have episodes that are just full on RuneScape, nothing else talking
Yeah.
about, and then I'll have some that are just like literally 5% RuneScape, and then the rest of it's
Yeah.
just like trauma dumping, and it's just great.
That's
So
how I feel like I was with XP Waste whenever they were on the like last month or whatever. It was not that much RuneScape, but it was so much fun. I like all of our guest episodes were honestly fun because I always start so nervous and then once we get into it, then it's like, oh, I have a friend. That's cute. I like this.
yeah, no, it's nice, and most casts, it's like it's weird because you're talking to a stranger that you've never talked to before, and then by
Yeah.
the end, you're like, that was great, that was nice,
Oh.
that felt good, like
I
almost every episode, almost.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Don't say who, obviously. I know you wouldn't. Do you have anyone that you would never have on again?
Yes.
DM me.
Dude, it's us. I knew it.
Holy shit.
Well, there's some that are very clear, like they're deleted episodes.
I think I know. I think I know one that you deleted.
Dang, that's rough.
I noticed, and I was like, weird. I'll have to message you.
Yeah.
Like, why? Because I don't follow RuneScape drama. Like, I don't know why people wouldn't like each other. I'm
Yeah.
just ignorant.
Yeah. No, it's just yeah. Now there's some that I've deleted and there's some that I have that I wouldn't have on again. Just but most of it's not any like personal thing. It's just like
Kind of
it's
like
almost like
whatever.
it's almost mutual. I mean, I don't know if it's mutual, but like there's been a couple episodes where it's like that just didn't like flow super well, and it's like it's
Yeah.
clear like neither of us want to do this again. It's not like it's
Yeah.
just
Oh.
him like or he or she desperately. I couldn't even
I was
say
a
she to be
man.
every female creator I've had on has been great. Honestly, it's the
Why do
goddamn
you think
men. I
I love
hate
the
them. No,
girls?
what? Every female creator that I've had on has been great. It's just like it's a different vibe every time. I always get
Time for me to turn to a bitch.
yeah, that's what we really need. We just need some absolute bitch to come on.
Yeah, right.
We need like a Stella Oda Block podcast to just fight it out about like
You
past
should
drama
do
and stuff.
that.
Yeah, no,
Host a debate.
hell no.
No, that
So
sounds stressful.
yeah, no, it's cool though. It's cool having such a huge variety of like a catalog of just people I've talked. Sometimes I'll scroll through like the episodes. I'm like, I don't even remember that one. Like, what the hell? Like, I talked to this guy when?
They all start blending.
Yeah, it's like 4 hours long of me talking to this guy I don't even remember. I'm like, oh Jesus, like that's
I've never met this man in my life.
yeah, yeah. It's fun though. So it's cool because we're both coming up on 200 episodes, which is
Yeah.
honestly, I don't know if you guys have looked up like podcast analytics, just like basic Google searches of most podcasts don't even get past episode 5, and then
Pussies.
it's like yeah, and then it's like what is it like 2% of them get past episode 50 or something, and
Oh my
like
gosh.
past
I didn't know that.
200 is like 0.01. It's just something like crazy. It's like
Wow.
so big applaud to you.
Yeah. Applaud to you as well.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
GC.
We've stayed consistent.
Yeah.
So that's
Somehow.
cool. Yeah. So let's wrap things up. But I want to ask you guys, how can people discover your guys' content? I mean, I'm gonna have it linked there, but like, where are you guys on? Are you like Spotify and YouTube? Is that it, or are you guys on like on every?
Michelle's got this on
Spiel
lock.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say all the socials because I'm used to it saying at the end of the podcast.
Let's do it.
So, Twitter and TikTok, we are BuneBape OSRS. Twitch, YouTube, Blue Sky, and Instagram and Spotify, we are BuneBape. We post through Spotify podcasts with Anchor, so technically it should be anywhere that you get your podcast. We're on Apple Podcasts and all that too.
Hell yeah.
And don't listen to our first episode.
Yeah.
Please God.
Probably skip the first 100.
There was a few even after 100. We tried to record in separate rooms for a little bit. That was not it.
Yeah.
It was not it.
That's great. Okay, well, I'm gonna have every single one of those links down in the description, so guys, you guys can go check them out. Honestly, I think the podcasting scene in OSRS, I want it to like flourish. Like, it's just cool. Like, I think it's like a medium that hasn't really been like fully cultivated in the old school space, and I feel like it's one of those games that actually has the highest potential for like podcasting because it's such a long term game. Like
Yeah.
a podcast on Fortnite versus a podcast on old school RuneScape is just night and day. I mean, this is
Just endless possibilities.
exactly. So I'm happy you guys have been so consistent. I'm always happy to see like other people just really going at it. So it was cool to get
Yay.
Guthix Rest on a few weeks back, and now you guys. So keep up the good work.
You as well.
Yeah, this was amazing. You guys honestly are just great. Meeting you guys in Vegas, I got like such good vibes from you. I may have been a little bit drunk. I can't remember if you guys.
You didn't seem it. I tell
Must have
everyone
been a
like
couple hours later.
whenever people mention you, I'm like, we met him and he was really nice and encouraging.
Let's go.
I'll hype you up.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. No, that was
I
great.
definitely,
Yeah.
I like highly value like people that are genuine, and you seem like someone that was more than at least a lot of the people.
We were a little awkward at the party. We don't drink, so it was like
Yeah, a lot of people that we met that
we had
day.
these conversations with you, even if it was brief.
Not saying that they weren't genuine, but you were definitely top 5. So it
Hell
was
yeah.
it was nice talking to you
Well,
in
thank
real
you.
life and on here.
It's like, yeah, like genuinely I rarely ever drink. I only really drink socially. if anything. But it's like you go to those parties and like I literally cannot be sober right now because I'm just gonna want to leave like immediately because I can't break free from this fucking social anxiety. It was just so like enveloped. And as soon as I just drink a little bit, I'm like, okay, we're good. Like I'm good now. So yeah, but
we just talked earlier.
It was definitely nice meeting you guys. It was definitely nice having you guys on. This flew by. Like it's been almost 3.5 hours. So that speaks volumes to just to know we could talk so like freely for so long, and it felt like an hour.
I know. So. I need to go make lunch. Holy shit! I'm hungry.
So thank you guys for being on. Thank you everybody for listening. If you guys want to check out BuneBape, I'm gonna again, as I said, have all their links down in the description. And if you guys want to support the cast, there is a Patreon link and a YouTube membership link. You can support the cast there. Greatly appreciate it, and we will catch you guys in the next episode. Peace.